years ago, 44% of the population of the United States lived on a farm. Today, that number is 2%. As a kid, I grew up on a farm, and here's what I did. I milked the cows, fed the chickens, gathered the eggs from the chickens to take to the store and trade for coffee, sugar, flour, things we couldn't grow. Slopped the hogs. Went to the spring, dipped water, and took it back to the house to cook and to drink. 50 years ago, the people came off the farms to the North Wilkesboro Speedway to be entertained a couple of times a year. They're still coming to the North Wilkesboro Speedway, but what used to be a hobby is now turned into business. Big business with big pressure.
It's become weekly for us, but I don't know how long my heart can stand this. Getting old in a hurry.
Got me a pit by myself because there's like 6 pits out there they're sharing. So that's all they said. They said, go qualify and get you a pit. That's what it is.
Well, we qualified better, yeah. So that's a gain. That's an improvement for us.
Slip and slide?
Some of them.
How about you?
Hope not.
Somebody told me a while ago, write the check to Rusty Wallace.
Oh, I'm not that cocky, trust me. I mean, I just hope it works.
Folks, I saw my first stock car race here at the North Wilkesboro Speedway, and every car here raced that day. Boy, have things changed.
ESPN, the world's leader in motorsports coverage, welcomes you to North Wilkesboro Speedway in North Carolina, in the area where Benny Parsons grew up. And today, it's the First Union 400 NASCAR Winston Cup race. And for once, we're not rushed to get the race underway because it is absolutely beautiful here in the brushy mountains, and it is not going to rain. Hi, everyone. I'm Bob Jenkins. Welcome to North Wilkesboro, where we have had a lot of pressure-packed activity in the last 3 days. Frantic Friday, 46 cars tried to qualify for the top 20 positions. And then the Saturday scramble saw those that qualified poorly on Friday try to get into the 34-car field. Well, they're all chasing Dale Earnhardt, who finds himself atop the NASCAR Winston Cup quest for the Cup standings as a result of last week's win at Bristol. Ernie Irvan is 40 behind, and Mark Martin, Ken Schrader, and Lake Speed. In the second 5, the 10th position goes to Rusty Wallace, 253 points behind, but you can bet he's going to be trying to make his way toward the front of the top point standings in today's event. There have been many stories to follow here so far this weekend, and for a rundown, we begin with Dr. Jerry Punch.
Thank you very much, Bob, and hello, everyone. Despite engine failure and a 33rd place finish last week for Ernie Irvan, which cost him the point lead, he can boast 2 wins and 5 top 10 finishes in the first 6 events of 1994. Now, if he wins number 3 here today, he will collect $91,200 in bonus from Unocal for being the first driver to win from the pole in 12 races. John?
Jerry, you're looking at something a little bit different from the Hoosier Tire Company. They've come to North Wilkesboro with a little bit stiffer sidewall on the outside of the right tire. And Jeff Bodine, fresh off a 4th place finish last week at Bristol, has come through with a very strong 5th place qualifying effort. They think that the tire is going to be very good in the race. Now, another team on Hoosier Tire starting 6th, Greg Sachs. They, too, expect a strong run today. In fact, Greg told me they should be able to run as many as 140 laps before they have to change tires. Jerry?
The misery of 93 continues for awesome Bill Elliott. Just 1 pole and 1 top 5 finish in 6 starts. That coming at Darlington. You know, it's gone beyond frustration. It's now a matter of pride. Elliott never won at Wilkesboro. His car owner won here 18 times. Nothing a Southern gentleman will fight more to maintain than personal pride. Watch for this red Ford to be a factor here today. John?
Jerry, possibly another factor, Brett Bodine. He won his first career Winston Cup race here at North Wilkesboro in the spring event in 1990. He says this racetrack reminds him a lot of Oswego Speedway, a place that he has had a lot of success on during his career. Also another driver with a strong qualifying run, Ted Musgrave, qualified third. Remember, he started from the pole at Richmond. Ted still has not won a race in his Winston Cup career. He may do so today. Now, you expect to see a Roush car near the front. That's usually the Roush car, Mark Martin, the number 6. Well, they will start 13th, a little further back in the grid. And speaking of further back, that's where Jerry Punch has made his way.
Well, Mark will have company back here, John. Take a look who starts 16th. Last year's winner in both events at Wilkesboro, Rusty Wallace's Miller Genuine Draft Ford, starts on the outside of row 8. But more company even further back. Come with me back to row 10. Take a look at who starts in 19th spot. Goodwrench Chevrolet, current point leader, Dale Earnhardt, having won the past 2 Winston Cup races in a row, and was an emotional victory lane last week for Earnhardt, but more emotion possibly coming from the driver who starts right beside him. Dave Marcus, 53 years of age, finished 10th at Bristol and picked up a sponsor this week. Look who it's from, Dale Earnhardt Chevrolet. Earnhardt and the car he's sponsoring fill up row 10. Gentlemen?
Ned, the cars are faster than ever in 1994.
Yes, they are. In fact, this is the 7th race of the season, and track records have been set at 6 of the 7 races so far this year. And it's not just a matter of the pole winner going out and breaking the track record. Sometimes a third or even more than half of the field are breaking the track records. They're going awfully fast. In fact, Ernie Irvin, who's sitting on the pole today, has been quoted publicly as saying it's not good, that they're running too fast on any kind of a racetrack. He thinks that it takes some away from the competition. Well, the one thing that makes you go fast is tires, and of course they're running a little bit wider tire, they're running a little bit softer compound, and it has resulted in some tire problems at Darlington a couple of weeks ago and then at Bristol last week. I don't anticipate any tire problems here today. We'll be surprised if we see any other than the normal wear you get here at North Wilkesboro. Those that have their chassis set up right so they can get off of turn 4 in particular, that's a very slick corner with the sun shining down on it, they're the ones that will prevail. If they can save those tires till late in a run of a green flag run, then they'll be the ones that will perhaps come out on top. But I think we can look forward to some exciting short track racing.
Well, Ned, speed was the key word on Friday during Busch Pole qualifying when 16 broke the previous track record. 36 cars are lined up here on pit road, ready to take the green flag at North Wilkesboro. Let's get rid of this real quick, can we? ESPN Speed World is being brought to you by Allied Signals Fram Filters. You can pay a little now or a lot later. By Quaker State, the intelligent oil for longer engine life. And by McDonald's, what you want is what you get at McDonald's today. There's the overhead view of North Wilkesboro Speedway, where thousands of race fans have gathered to watch the competition today on this racetrack. The front stretch and back stretch, 670 feet in length. The corners are banked at 14 degrees, and the front stretch is banked at 3 degrees. It is an uphill-downhill situation here, as the cars will actually go downhill as they go into turn number 1, and they go up the backstretch. So it has a little bit of an elevation change here at the track.
Well, it's about 3 degrees as far as the elevation change is concerned, as the cars are fired, they're warming up, and we'll be racing in just a few moments.
Let's take a look at the starting lineup. Our Busch Pole Award winner, Ernie Irvin, qualifying at 119.016 in the Texaco Haviland Ford, car number 28. Brett Bodine will start alongside in the Quaker State Ford, car number 26. Going to row number 2, it's Ted Musgrave on the inside, qualifying at 118.802 in the Family Channel Ford. Alongside will be Bill Elliott in the Budweiser Ford, car number 11. Jeff Bodine will start in 5th position this afternoon in the Exide Batteries Ford, and Greg Sachs will be alongside in the U.S. Air Jasper Engines Ford. Ford swept the top 6 positions in qualifying. Sterling Marlin starts on the inside of row number 4. Alongside will be Jimmy Spencer, who had a crash here a few weeks ago and broke his shoulder. Ken Schrader and Terry Labonte will make up row number 5. In the 6th row this afternoon, Jeremy Mayfield with an excellent qualifying performance, and Jeff Gordon. Row number 7 has Mark Martin and Hut Strickland. Going to row number 8, it's Morgan Shepherd and Rusty Wallace, who won here last year. The 9th row, Rick Mast and Michael Waltrip. Excellent performance last week at Bristol for Michael Waltrip. And Rick Mast will start inside of row number 9. The 10th row, there you find Dale Earnhardt and Dave Marcus, who had a top 10 finish last week at Bristol, his best finish of the year. Our congratulations to Dave once again, and he could turn in an excellent performance here this afternoon. Chuck Bound, who was the pole sitter last weekend at Bristol, starts inside row number 11. Derry Cope alongside. The 12th row here this afternoon consists of John Andretti, who missed the race last week, and Bobby Hamilton. The 13th row, Ricky Rudd, who was injured in a crash but released after treatment last weekend, and Todd Bodine. The 14th row is occupied by Wally Dallenbach and Kyle Petty. Row number 15, it's Lake Speed and Harry Gant. And Harry Gant will be starting his final spring race here at North Wilkesboro. He has 30 starts, 1 pole, 1 win, and 12 top 5 finishes. The rest of the starting lineup, row number 16, Dale Jarrett and Jay Hedgecock. In row number 17, it's Darrell Waltrip and Dick Trickle. The 18th row consists of those who had to take provisionals to get into this event, Jeff Burton and Bobby Labonte.
And Bobby Labonte was not able to qualify yesterday. He tried to get a 4 set of tires through on NASCAR, was caught. They would not let him qualify, also would not let him practice the entire day on Saturday, and he was awarded a provisional.
In-car cameras will be carried by Derry Cope in the Finger Hut car. He's lined up on the outside, getting ready to take the green flag in one more lap.
Also, Mark Martin's Pyro in-car camera. You see Mark Martin going back and forth, trying to scrub all the debris off the tires.
And finally, Rusty Wallace will be carrying an in-car camera for us this afternoon. And look at the list who didn't make it, and they're visiting Granny today.
Watching the race on TV today, Curtis Markham, Mike Wallace, Steve Grissom, Ward Burton, Freddie Query, Jimmy Hensley, Joe Nemechek, Rich Bickle, Lloyd Allen, and Mike Skinner driving the Jimmy Means car.
We are set to go racing for 400 laps here at North Wilkesboro in the first Union 400. A tremendous crowd on an absolutely picture-perfect, beautiful day. Here's the green flag, and we're racing.
There's 2 old modified
adversaries,
competitors. I knew that word. Jimmy Spencer and Greg Sachs side by side. They've done this many times in the modifieds up in the Northeast.
That's the battle for 5th position. And here's Sterling Marlin running alongside Ken Schrader behind Jeff Bodine.
Schrader might get the best of that battle. He gets on the inside of Jeff Bodine going into turn 3. Normally the inside groove is the best place. Looks like it is right now, at least this early in the race.
Oh, pretty good contact between Sterling Marlin and Jeff Bodine.
And they're still banging a little bit.
Marlin got the best of the battle. I'm not sure who came out the best as far as body damage is concerned, but they definitely had contact. And Ted Musgrave goes to second inside of Brett Bodine.
He was up here a couple of weeks ago and tested the Family Channel car, Bob, and was extremely fast. Came here thinking he would sit on the pole. He missed it by just a little bit, but that car has been very, very fast here.
Musgrave, Brett Bodine, Bill Elliott, Greg Sachs, and Jimmy Spencer run behind the leader, Ernie Irvin. And here's what happened a couple of laps ago between Marlin and Jeff.
Watch they come off the corner. They touch tires, and both guys lucky to gain control.
We see Dale Earnhardt running behind Mark Martin. Rusty Wallace is there, so is Michael Walter as we jump inside the Miller Genuine Draft Ford with Rusty.
And look at Kyle Petty. Man, is that guy on the move.
And he has picked up, what, at least 10 positions so far.
And there's Mark Martin going backwards as Earnhardt goes by. Rusty Wallace and Michael Walter goes up beside of him.
Earnhardt 15th, Rusty 16th, and then the battle for 17th between Martin and Michael Walter. Oh, maybe some contact there. Coming out of the corner.
Yeah, here's Hutch Strickland. He gets alongside Mark Martin. Mark needs to get back in line now. Here's his opportunity to get back to the bottom of the racetrack. Gets Kyle Petty is alongside Hutch Strickland.
Take a look at what happened to Mark Martin here a couple of laps ago.
Now we see Earnhardt on the inside of Hutch Strickland.
Petty almost got into the wall.
Hutch Strickland had contact with
Mark Martin. He got him sideways.
Yep. Kyle got way out of the groove and lost a couple of positions.
Ned, he fought. He got about 10 spots, gained about 10 spots, drove his heart out, lost control, lost all those 10 spots back.
But he says, I got a good race car, so I'll get up here and try to get him back again.
Here's Greg Sachs going to the inside of Bill Elliott as Greg tries to take over fourth position, and we have a crash in turn 2. Todd Bodine has spun, and the caution is out.
And Todd is trying to get his car going. He does get going. The pace car pulls in front of Ernie Irvin. He will say get in lapped.
So our first caution comes on lap number 12. It's Todd Bodine spinning in corner number 2 as Ernie Irvin leads the First Union 400.
Bob, I appreciate it. I couldn't think of adversity. I can't say it again. Adversaries. I couldn't think of that word to save my life. Adversaries, yeah. I didn't say nothing. Bob said that, but whatever. What is that word? I can't say it. Well, I tried. Yeah, rivals. That's good. Ooh.
Was that Hamilton up there? Yeah. Yep.
Let's see. How'd he get started? Let's see. Taking wedge out, Ned.
Yeah, it's
out of the 75 car.
75. I don't know about this car. It's really pushing bad.
What's Todd doing sitting on?
Never mind. Okay. We've completed 14 out of 400 laps, and the leader is Ernie Irvin. Ted Musgrave has moved to second, then Brett Bodine, Greg Sachs, and Bill Elliott. We are under our first caution as a result of this.
Todd Bodine goes in the corner. I couldn't see if he had contact or not. Could you, Ned?
Looked like maybe he and Bobby Hamilton might have got together just a little bit.
Don't know.
Real close racing.
Hamilton went to the top of the track and got through okay, and there was only one car involved. That, of course, Todd Bodine, and the pace car pulls off. We're set to go racing once again on lap number 16 after 3 laps of caution.
other Junior Johnson car alongside Bill Elliott.
That's the battle for 5th position.
Jimmy, don't wreck Bill, whatever you do.
No, that'd be the wrong one. Yeah. Junior wouldn't like that at all.
Tell you what, Elliott's running pretty good on the outside.
Yeah, but he's going to lose. Ken Schrader's sitting right there. He'll try to duck under there himself.
Ken Schrader now comes up to try to make a battle with Bill Elliott. Spencer has got that position. He's now 5th.
And Greg Sachs just took over that 3rd spot from Brett Bodine. You ever seen Bodine's car just go out the break? There he is.
Greg Sachs on Hoosier tires. Made a visit out to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway on Thursday, I believe, of this week. And the number 77 car was on the Speedway in some testing for the Brickyard 400 coming up in August.
Greg wants the world to know that he's not just a super speedway driver. Most of his early day experience was racing in the modifieds, and it was on short tracks. That said, he just really hadn't had the car that he needed over the years to perform on the short tracks. He said, we're going to show him that I can drive a short track and that we can set a car up for a short track. Doing okay right now.
Sure is. Ted Musgrave chasing Ernie Irvan, the leader of the race. Here's Dr. Punch.
We mentioned last week that Ernie Irvan had an engine problem at Bristol. A timing chain broke. A lot of concern in the team this morning about the engine here at Wilkesboro. You turned about 8,800 RPMs for a lap. So at 3 o'clock this morning, engine builder Doug Yates went to their race shop, put the cam in the motor, and turned the dyno on, turned it up to 8,800 RPM to try to get some sort of an omen as to what they might expect today. As soon as they hit 8,700 RPMs, the oil pressure cap flew off the engine and barely missed Doug Yates' head. Doug shut the engine off, so that's all I want to know. I'm headed to Wilkesboro.
That's dedication to the job, though, working into the wee hours of the morning. Here's our Fram Field summary showing you where the entire field is positioned a last lap ago.
Important that these drivers come off the corner and keep the car as straight as they possibly can. When you spin these tires, they lose that grip. They just don't ever seem to get that grip back. As we see Jeff Gordon on the inside of Jeremy Mayfield out of Nashville, Tennessee, and he had a great qualifying run in that white number 95.
And here comes Morgan Shepherd, Rick Mast, and Dale Earnhardt, all to the inside of Mayfield, who got out of the groove.
Michael Waltrip was out there, but he found himself to place to get back inside. His car was running pretty good on the outside. And here's Jimmy Spencer now in the McDonald's Ford moving around Brett Bodine.
And he goes to 4th spot. Jimmy Spencer is on the move. There's 2nd and 3rd, Musgrave and Sachs.
Tell you what, Greg Sachs is impressing me today, Ned.
Yes, he is. Car running good. He's driving well.
D.K. Ulrich was bragging to me earlier that he had 3 out of the top 6 qualifiers drove for him at one time. Both those guys drove for him, Musgrave and Sachs, and also Ernie Irvan. As we see Jeremy Mayfield is back in the clutches of Mark Martin. There's Kyle Petty right on the inside of Mark Martin. We saw Martin's car wiggle as he came off the corner. That's what I'm talking about. You really need to keep the car straight as Sachs tries to take over that 2nd spot.
Greg Sachs positions his U.S. Air Jasper Engines car to the inside of Musgrave. This is the classic Hoosier against Goodyear battle with Sachs on the Hoosiers and Musgrave on the Goodyears, and Greg's got 2nd.
The Hoosiers seem to be working pretty good right now.
As we watch this, Michael Waltrip got by Dale Earnhardt. You know, remember Michael ran very well here last fall. Maybe he will get it back again. And look at Sachs stretch it out on Musgrave.
Sure is. Those tires are working well. And with more on the tire situation, here again is Jerry Punch.
Gentlemen, spoke with the Hoosier engineers this morning, Larry Talbert in particular. He said, hey, if we can get some long green flag runs, we should start to get very, very competitive around lap 30. Well, it's lap 30 this time by, and Greg Sachs is making a move on the Hoosier tire. Let's check in with John Kernan. Well, Jerry, under that first
first caution, you noticed that Dale Jarrett came in and did it. He wasn't involved. He took on right side tires. They also put a rubber in the right rear spring. Dale could not drive the race car, so they thought they needed to take advantage of that first caution and maybe get it to handle a little bit better, but I still think he's having problems with that car.
Here is Kinch Rader moving to the inside of Bill Elliott, and Schrader moves up another spot. He's now to 7th.
Lost 4 positions. He started 4th, and now back to the 8th position.
And his teammate Spencer has gained 4 spots. He started 8th. He's up to 4th.
They just switched where they started.
Position at the moment. Right behind him is Morgan Shepherd and Rick Mast.
Jay Hitchcock just won a lap down. He's the first car to go a lap down, but it's not far in front of Ernie Irvin, so they're a big group of cars that they'll see him coming up in their rearview mirror before too long.
Rusty Wallace begins to move up a little bit. He's up to 16th now, and also the 10-car Rudd up to 17th.
Ricky Rudd has been making some steady progress up through the field. Started 25th.
Rusty's up in that upper groove, and I guess he's going to hold on to this spot. An 8th position move toward the front for Ricky Rudd since the start of the race.
Moves on the inside of Rusty going into the turn. Ooh, he gets to slow down just a little bit. Now Rusty knows he's there, gives him a little bit of running room.
Good side-by-side battle.
A lot of patience on Ricky Rudd's part to not just go in there and spin them both out. You know, Ricky Rudd moves into his new shop. When he moved in last week, he will work on this race car tomorrow in his own shop for the first time.
So it's Earnhardt in 15th, Rudd 16th, and Rusty Wallace in 17th. The leader of the race is Ernie Irvin. That was a good stat there, Lenny. I was going to use it as soon as we got back to Sachs. I like that one better than the one you got up there. Yep. Look at this. 3, 4, 5, 7 cars are about to go down a lap. Thank you. That's a good stat. I like that, Lenny.
22 slowed down right in front of Ernie. He was about to mess up.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Yep. Of course, there's always a manufacturer's battle in NASCAR Winston Cup competition. Ford and Chevy tied right now, but at the moment, Ford has the top 5 positions at the end of 42 laps here with Irvin, Sachs, Spencer, Musgrave, and Jeff Bodine. The manufacturer's battle will reveal to you that Chevrolet has not won a pole position so far this year. However, they have had 3 wins. And Ford has all 7 poles and an equal number of wins. As far as the numbers are concerned, it's 45 apiece for Chevrolet and Ford, and Pontiac with 20.
And Ernie Irvin is working on some heavy traffic. He's While we're on commercial break, he passed 6 or 7 cars and put them a lap down. There we see Jeff Burton, the last car to go a lap down. He's right behind Harry Gant.
And Gant is 28. So here goes the 28th guy in the serial going a lap down, and now Chuck Bound will be next.
And Benny, he's doing that on the outside. They're moving down to the inside, giving him running room most of the time, and his car's working wherever he wants to run it, on the outside or the inside. I'm talking about Ernie Irvin as he comes up to lap these cars.
There's Dolan back in the STP Pontiac going a lap down, and Jeremy Mayfield, a great qualifying run, he now is a lap down after about 45 laps. And Chuck Bound, pole sitter last week at Bristol, in jeopardy of going a lap down, he and Dave Marcus.
And with more on Jeremy Mayfield's story, here's John Kernan.
When Jeremy Mayfield came to the track on Friday morning, just about all the veterans told him, Jeremy, you're going to have a lot of trouble here in North Wilkesboro. It's hard to get a handle on it. So with those thoughts in his mind, Jeremy went out for his very first practice lap and said, hey, this place is just like my home track in Nashville. You drive it the same way. He felt very comfortable and he qualified very, very well, 11th. He said his plans for today will be try to stay out of trouble, get as many laps as he can, and he also had Rick Red who came up to help him today. But now he did go a lap down. Their plan, get experience to apply to the second race in the fall.
And here's another battle with Terry Labonte in number 5 and Brett Bodine in number 26. And
they're fighting for the 8th position. 7th position, Bob, that Brett losing a couple of positions there.
Ricky Rudd still making his way towards the front.
Up to 13.
Michael Waltrip having another good run in Pennzoil Pontiac. He started 18th, currently running in the 14th position.
Rudd, of course, started back in 25th, 9th.
And there we see Dale Earnhardt has caught this group. And Earnhardt goes in the corner a little higher and seems to be running a little higher than most of these cars. Might be trying to work that top groove out. Kind of like the sprint cars running up in the loose stuff.
Probably a spotter has told him, well, Ernie Irvin has caught these cars that are running pretty good back there and has been able to move up on the outside and putting a lap on them, although they're letting him do that. But at the same time, you know, he's running up there and getting traction, so they said, why don't you try it up there a little bit?
Inside of Rusty Wallace's car, riding along with Rusty.
Ernie Irvin has lapped 13 cars so far. Again, Earnhardt working that upper groove in the corners. He'll follow that path through the first and second turns here, trying to pass Michael Waltrip.
Tell you what, he made a good move through that corner.
Yes, he did. That's working for him right now. And he's running up on some very, very heavy traffic. He might have to go 3 wide here in a minute. He might not want to do that.
Brett Bodine, of course, won his only NASCAR Winston Cup race here in 1990. We now have 23 cars still on the lead lap. We've had a long green period here.
There we see alongside Brett Bodine. So Brett's Quaker State Ford moving slowly back through the field.
Tell you somebody else that's not doing as well as he expected to is Mark Martin. He's the next car to be lapped. He is backed up to 22nd position right now. And Ernie Irvin is coming up on Mark Martin and threatening to put a lap on him as we watch this heavy traffic that Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt are in.
See Rusty on the very bottom of the racetrack, the third line normally. But Earnhardt up on top of the racetrack trying to find some grip, evidently. Whoa! Almost lost her that time, loses a spot.
He got out of the zone where the grip was that time.
You better believe he did, big time. There is Mark Martin, who is about to go a lap down in 22nd position. John Kernan.
Bob, as you can see, the back end wiggled as Mark came off of turn 4 right now as Ernie Irvin trying to put him down a lap. Mark's car has been very, very loose. In fact, from about about the 5th lap in, the car has gotten just looser and looser. So they are hoping for a caution period soon so they can come in and make an adjustment.
Looks like several cars are hoping for that caution period very soon as we keep an eye on the leader in the upper right box and the battle for position between Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt.
And look at Bobby Hamilton. The Kendall Pontiac moves up right behind Rusty Wallace.
Narrowly escaped being involved in our first caution with Todd Bodine, but obviously that car is running well. He's to the inside of Rusty now. And Bill Elliott, as you can see in the upper right, is about to go a lap down, Jerry.
Well, just the opposite problem for Bill Elliott that Mark Martin was having. Elliott's car is too tight. You heard Benny Parsons say at the beginning of the show, you got to be tight to be able to get hooked up coming off the corner. Well, Elliott's car is so tight that it has a push in the middle of the corner. He cannot get the car to turn. So he just goes one lap down as Ernie Irvin makes the pass.
17 car of Darrell Waltrip has been in for a pit stop as we continue to watch this battle among 5 cars for position.
Bobby Hamilton moved by Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace. Here's Kyle Petty after he slipped, went back to about 30th. He's now moving forward in the 18th spot.
We talked about Ricky Rudd a moment ago. He's moved into the top 10 now, just past Morgan Shepherd. Let's go to the pits and John Kernan.
Hey, John Irvin's a good friend of mine, as he is yours, Ned. I don't mind being mistaken for John Irvin. But Kyle Petty, you know, normally has been working the Saturday shows with us here on ESPN. Yesterday, we gave him the option because the car just wasn't running. So Kyle told me they were going to basically rebuild that car. In fact, this morning, Robin Pemberton said they changed everything on that race car except the driver's seat and the decals, and it looks like they've got it figured out.
Oh, and Ernie Irvin almost crashed down in turn 1. He and Lake Speed got together in turn 1 and almost crashed.
Ernie Irvin has only 7 top 5 finishes in his 50 career short track starts. Here is the replay, what Benny was talking about.
He goes down in the corner. He's alongside Lake Speed, and Lake comes down, and they make contact. I sure hope he didn't knock his towing out on Ernie's car.
Here's Bill Elliott, who has come in for a pit stop.
Rusty Wallace coming into the pits as well. As Elliott goes out, Rusty Wallace coming in.
Miller Genuine Draft Ford pitted down toward turn number 1. All the pits here at North Wilkesboro are on the front stretch. No backstretch pits. Rusty rides and the crew goes to work, while the 78 car of Jay Hedgecock goes behind the wall. Work finished on the right side of the car. Now the pit crew goes to work changing left side tires. The clock ticking off. Oh, an excellent pit stop in 17 seconds for Wallace, and he's back underway.
I'll say it was a great pit stop. There's been a race going on for second, Bob. Greg Sachs, we saw him make that great run up towards the front. Well, several cars have passed him now, and Ken Schrader has moved into second. Jimmy Spencer has moved into third, and this is Rick Mast, who is running in the 11th position right now behind Ricky Rudd, who is in 10th. They've caught Jeff Gordon up there. You see the car number 24 there, Sterling Marlin, and Ted Musgrave, who was up there in second a good while ago. So the chassis on the cars are beginning to tell now, so those tires really get hot. But Greg Sachs has really been losing positions here. And Mark Martin coming into the pits right now in the Valvoline Ford.
Mark has already gone a lap down. Coming in for the stop.
As they change the right side tire, you can see the man reaching across the wall, cleaning the windshield, making a chassis adjustment. That's Steve Meal, the crew chief on the car. Now they'll go to the left side, change those tires, filling it up with the Unical gasoline.
Much slower pit stop than Rusty turned in. It's a 20.4 for Mark.
And there was Jeff Burton we saw coming in pits up on the upper end of the pits.
Boy, just a whole gaggle of cars here with Marcus and Hamilton and Labonte and Michael Waltrip, Jeff Gordon, Morgan Shepherd.
Now these cars are lapping Dave Marcus.
And the 8 car of Jeff Burton is in for a pit stop.
He's one of those drivers running the Hoosier tires.
And had to take a provisional to get in, but he leads the rookie point standings.
Jeremy Mayfield has been in. He goes.
And Earnhardt's coming in the pits now. He was just put a lap down by the 28 car of Ernie Irvin. So he said, look, I'm not going to stay out here any longer. Down pit road he comes to Richard Childress and the crew for 4 fresh tires. And Jerry Ponch is there.
earlier pit stops than expected. A lot of concern over some temperatures with tires. That's what Rusty Wallace saw a minute ago, as his car was pushing so bad and so tight, they had raised the temperature of the inside cone of the tire to some 40 degrees. As you're watching the Goodwin Chevrolet crew now, having already changed right side tires, trying to make it 3 wins in a row. Left side tires going on. Andy Petrie, left front. David Smith pulls the jack. Down and away in 18.9 seconds.
The 77 car of Greg Sachs comes in for a stop. Slides to a halt.
Yeah, they thought they were told that they thought they could go 140 laps. Well, it's not working out that way. It's gone about 74 laps. They changed the right side tires, go around and change the left side. Fill her up with gasoline. He's already past what Rusty Wallace was in. And here's Jeff Bodine.
77 car still on pit road. They've got a problem there.
The NASCAR official is holding. There's an official standing right in front of the car.
I think maybe he exceeded the speed limit, Benny, because when he came in, he just had to slam on the brakes. So that is the case indeed.
That's a 15-second pit stop. Let's go to the pits and Jerry Punch.
X-side battery crew already having changed right side tires for Jeff Bodine. Left side, whoa! Bodine, the car falls off the track and begins to spin and trying to get the lug nuts on. A costly mistake. They had not got the jack beneath the car. Another car dies. It refires, and finally Bodine is down and away.
Jeff Bodine with problems in the pits. The 77 car is going to get another stop and go.
Too fast leaving the pits. They held it for too fast going in the pits, and now he's got to come back in because he left the pits too fast. Oh, Harry again. Rusty Wallace getting together. Rusty out there with those fresh tires. He and Darrell Walter both.
Yep. And Harry Gant has passed the 28 car, passed him back, and has gotten back in the lead lap. So Ernie Irvan is not running as fast as he was. His tires are getting old.
Here's Jimmy Spencer coming in for his pit stop. He was running in 10th position when he brought the McDonald's Ford in. You can see a tire mark on the side of that car, right on the 27. Pit crew moving to the left side of the car, making a chassis adjustment on it.
As we watch him leave the pits, here comes 77 back in the pits.
Greg Sachs with just a stop and go.
Brett Bodine coming in. There's Ted Musgrave in the car number 16. Let's go back to the pits and Jerry.
Pitting nose to tail, right side tires. They're pitting right together toward turn 1. Right side tires already on the family channel car on the left side. Likewise, the Quaker State crew. Donnie Richardson and company. Left side, they make a major chassis adjustment in the right rear of the car number 26. As these cars now get ready to leave, and Ernie Irvan's crew said they have called Ernie in. Next time by, the Texaco Hamilton Ford, our leader, will make an entry onto pit road.
So we'll watch for that. Ernie Irvan off of corner 4. He's on pit road, as a matter of fact, as Kyle Petty is also in for his scheduled pit stop. And here's Jerry again in Ernie Irvan's pit.
35 miles per hour. Ernie stops it right on the march they have made here in the concrete pits of North Wilkesboro. Right side tires going on. Left side lug nuts already come off. Crew cam being worn by Joey Knuckles. Left front tire now being pulled off by Knuckles. Jeff Clark, the jack man, ready to pull that jack, and he twists the jack, pulls it. 18.4 seconds. He is down and away.
Good stop for Ernie. Terry Labonte is in the pits. Michael Waldrop coming in, several coming in for pit stops as Ernie Irvan goes back out and picks up the speed. There's Morgan Shepherd. His work has been completed on his Citgo Ford. Jeff Gordon, he was in 7th position when he came in for his pit stop. There you can see Michael Waldrop also pitted at the top of your screen in the Pennzoil Pontiac.
That should give the lead to Ken Schrader. Lake Speed getting the service at the forward. Michael Waldrop finishes his service and heads back out.
Here's Sterling Marlin in the Kodak Film Chevrolet Daytona 500 winner in. There you can see that Harry Gant has brought this gold bandit in. Some frantic work on pit road here as everybody is in bad need of new tires. Jack Gordon pulling out.
Ken Schrader is now headed down pit road along with Dick Trickle. Trickle was in just a moment ago. He's back in the pits, and let's go to the pits and Jerry Punch.
Our leader, Kenny Schrader, fresh from that runner-up finish at Bristol a week ago, brings the Kodak Chevrolet down. And Ken Allen and the rest of the crew, lots of rubber built up in the front grill already on Ken Schrader's car. They cleaned the windshield, have already changed right side tires, get it full of fuel. Schrader said they will get left side tires. Let's check in with John Curtis. Jared, Rick Massey
chassis adjustment. The car had just gotten a little bit loose as Ken Schrader heads out back onto the racetrack. Left side lug nuts going on. Chassis up. Rick Mass guns the engine and heads down pit road.
Dave Marcus is in, and the lead, I believe, has gone to Bobby Hamilton. But he should be coming in soon,
right now, Bob.
Right now, yep.
Off the pit road. Or off the racetrack onto pit road, I should say.
Jeff Hammond and the crew going to work on that car. Right front's off. Back on. Jackman watching. As soon as they tighten the lug nut, yes, down he goes. And around to the left side. See Dale Jarrett leaving the pits. Stopped and made his pit stop. Cleaning the grill, getting all the rubber debris off the grill. Car is down, away he goes.
So everybody has made a pit stop now, and that gives the lead back to Ernie Irvan, who had it before we began the pit stop. So Ernie Irvan back in control of the First Union 400 as 88 out of 400 laps have been completed at North Wilkesboro Speedway in North Carolina. Okay. 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 They go long. That means it lasted a long time, right? Yeah.
So 77 cars 2 laps down now?
Yes. All right. All righty.
It's unbelievable. Rusty Wallace is running second.
Okay.
And he stopped early and got fresh tires plus the pit stop.
Welcome back to ESPN's live coverage of the First Union 400 NASCAR Winston Cup race from North Wilkesboro, North Carolina. And Darrell Waltrip has a flat as we salute the Family Channel blimp as it gives us the excellent overhead pictures from North Wilkesboro. Darrell Waltrip.
The right rear tire is flat on the car, and I just hope the thing doesn't spin out trying to get in the pits or someone run over him. Thank goodness he got on pit road with that tire. Look at that, baby.
Oh, my. Well, you heard Darrell Waltrip say earlier today on Speed Week about how all of his problems this year have been more mechanically related than tire related. Of course, he was one of the first to commit to the Hoosier program. And now they're going to change all 4. Now we will tell you more about the Family Channel blimp that encircles racetracks around the country. Family Channel blimp ending in giving aerial encouragement to their car, which is driven by Ted Musgrave and is currently in 10th position. As a matter of fact, let's review for you how they are running at this point with almost a fourth of the race completed. The lead is held by Ernie Irvan. Rusty Wallace, with whom we are riding, is currently in 2nd position. Jimmy Spencer is 3rd, then Ken Schrader and Dale Earnhardt 6 through 10. At this point, Rudd, Martin, Jeff Bodine, Bill Elliott, and Ted Musgrave.
He's about to lap the 10th place car. Wow.
Yep. Labonte's already a lap down.
No, not quite. He's moved up. That's
okay.
Yeah. They got it swapped.
Yeah, they got it
monitor.
Okay. And one of the problems with this is that by the time you get one of those things up there, we're following somebody else, and I just can't Well, the problem with this computer thing is by the time that Lenny gets things up there, and he's given me some good stuff, but by the time he gets it up there, we're following somebody else. And yeah, right, okay. Oh, I'm not complaining. I'm just justifying. Yep.
I think we need to somehow explain how the 2 and 3 are in the top 10.
Ernie Irvan continues to lead the First Union 400, race number 7 in the NASCAR Winston Cup Series for 1994. He is about to lap the 10th place car, make that the
11th place car.
10 must break.
Yeah. 11 cars on the lead, were on the lead lap. Now there are 10.
Now the 8 car directly in front of him, Jeff Burton, the Rebestas Ford, is a lap down already. This would put him 2 laps down. But Mark Martin, right in front of Burton, has gotten back in the lead lap as we see Rusty Wallace and Jeff Gordon. Rusty Wallace stopped early, got some tires, and now he's starting to struggle again with those used tires. As these cars stopped after he did, their tires are fresher. They're much faster than Rusty Wallace.
Just an amazing record for Rusty Wallace on short tracks as we look at the race average of 103 and the record of 99, so we're above the track record. Rusty has a finishing average on the short tracks of 2.07 in the last 13 short track events.
What we saw just a moment ago is a race for the 3rd spot. There's Schrader trying to get by Rusty Wallace, who pulls alongside. He will take over the 3rd spot. Jimmy Spencer has passed Rusty to take over 2nd. So right now it's Ernie Irvan, Jimmy Spencer, Kenny Schrader, and Rusty Wallace. That's the top 4. But again, that's how Rusty was able to get back up front. Was an early pit stop, changed tires quickly, and had a great pit stop. Also, Dale Earnhardt had a great pit stop that stopped a little bit early as Ernie Irvan puts a lap on Mark Martin.
And they go out and they run from 1 to 2 seconds faster per lap with the new tires on. Ernie Irvan stayed out there a good while, and so that let them go 8 or 10 laps running that second 1 to 2 seconds per lap faster. And so that, yes, put them up there. But as you say, now their tires begin to get heat up and struggle again.
There's Hut Strickland, the Smoking Joe car.
He goes 2 laps down. He's in 24th position.
Ernie is still running well, and I was concerned when he made contact with Lake Speed that he had messed a toe in up on that car because it looked like it was pretty heavy contact with the right front of the car.
Don't seem to affect it, though. He's still getting a good bike. He's able to drive it where he wants to.
And not too far in front of him. Well, there we go over to our 2nd place car of Jimmy Spencer, the McDonald's Ford.
So Ernie has a half a lap lead on Spencer. More than that.
As a matter of fact, as we see Jeff Gordon trying to get by Jimmy Spencer. Right in front of our leader of spin, Jeff Bodine.
Bodine's car is up against the wall in turn number 2. And Jeff was running in 7th position when that happened, and he was right in front of the leaders, I believe.
Yes, he was. As a matter of fact, Ernie Irvan was in heavy traffic. And someone made contact with Jeff Bodine. I'm not sure exactly. Someone caught him in the left rear, and around he went. Let's watch. It's Dick Trickle that made the contact. Goes in the corner. Jeff Bodine comes down, and we see the contact, and around goes Jeff, and there's our leader right behind him.
Mark Martin had just been lapped. He tried his best to beat Ernie Irvan back to the line, but couldn't do it. Now Ernie Irvan will come down pit road once again, get some new tires.
Our 2nd caution period of the day. We'll throw it down to Jerry for the pit stops.
And Ernie very deliberately at 35 miles per hour comes down pit road. The crew wants to look at the right front fender once again where he came into contact earlier with Lake Speed. Joey Knuckles had to actually pull the fender out from the previous pit stop under green. Fender looks to be okay. They changed right side tires. Left side lug nuts coming off. Back upstairs.
Now we have 3 to follow for you. Here comes Spencer and Wallace both in addition to Irvan.
And they stop almost together. We see Ernie Irvan has already left, and the 27 start. An 18-second pit stop for Ernie Irvin. Right sides are down on the 27 car. Uh-oh, they're holding him.
No, he had to wait until the traffic went by. He got out so quick that the line of traffic had not gotten by yet.
Well, a good stop for Rusty, 17.8 and 22 for Spencer. So Rusty's team did the best job in terms of time on pit road. We'll see how it shakes out in track position.
Probably going to put him in second spot.
We are under caution for the second time because of a spin in turn number 2 involving Jeff Bodine. You were on the talkback when you called that spin. You realize the guys in the truck have their ears blown out. Okay.
Hey, Ned.
Had a tire on pit road. There we go. No, there are only 7 cars on the lead lap.
Yeah.
Okay. Technical advances in Winston Cup racing.
They don't get to rest anymore. You know, used to you had a problem like that, you give them the pits and rested a while. Now you got to go back to work.
All right, our pit stop summary shows that Irvin was in first and out first. Spencer lost a position. Ken Schrader also lost 1 position. Rusty Wallace gained 2 because of his 17.8-second pit stop, and Ricky Rudd stayed the same in 5th position. Just about to go back to green.
And there are only 7 cars in the lead lap. Dale Earnhardt is in 6th place. And Terry Labonte is in 7th place.
And Mark Martin, we see right alongside Ernie Irvin. He is the lap down, as well as Sterling Marlin.
They're in 8th and 9th, and 10th is Kyle Petty.
These cars, you can see, pulling into the pit area, leaving the field in the control of Ernie Irvin, who slams his foot to the floor and picks up the speed to racing competition. Sawing the wheel and trying to keep control of that car.
I was about to say, this is the time when things get a little bit hairy on the restarts. They're running side by side. Drivers that are lap down trying to get back in the lead lap.
There's Spencer and Schrader and Ricky Rudd. They're all on the lead lap. And here's the replay of the bump that Rusty got.
Rusty on the outside of Mark Martin, and Jimmy Spencer goes up, just touches him in the back. And I tell you what, Jimmy could have really made a mess if he'd have drove up beside of Rusty, then made it 3 wide. He decided to back off wisely.
Jimmy Spencer continues to run 3rd, and Wallace in 2nd position. And Spencer has 8 previous starts at North Wilkesboro. His best finish at 3rd in the 1991 first Union 400. And of course, Rusty won both events here at this track last year.
Kyle Petty gets alongside Sterling Marlin. These guys are racing for position. It's about 7th, isn't it? 9th spot. And it looks Jimmy Spencer passes Rusty Wallace for 2nd.
Boy, he's racy, isn't he?
Rusty's still sawing that wheel.
Yeah, he is. This is a very poor transition, Benny, but speaking of using your hands, how was forgotten what you had learned several years ago?
I tell you what, I milked for about 2 minutes, and I said, somebody got to help me out. My hands were exhausted, and arms and everything else.
Wonder how the cow felt.
Yeah, really. Should have gotten a comment from the cow. Can you imagine doing that twice a day?
7 days a week. Used to, I did, but
yeah.
Thank the Lord for ESPN.
Here's the interval between second and third, and the leader, Irvin, continues to hang on to the advantage. And look at the difference between old tires and new tires.
I'm pretty impressed with that old tire speed, Ned. 3.5 seconds. Used to about 22 seconds.
Yeah, but those tires were not that old. Hadn't been that long since he went in the pits. Had he run another 30 or 40 laps, I think we'd have seen him up over 21 seconds. But still, there was a second difference in the lap speeds, even at that.
And I tell you what, Ernie Irvin, this Howland Ford looks about like he did in Martinsville last fall when he dominated that race. His first victory with Robert Yates.
He's just checking out on him.
Here's the interval between Irvin and Spencer. 3 seconds, 4.5 back to Rusty, 4.2 to Rusty Wallace, 4.8 Kenny Schrader, and 5 seconds, a little over 5 seconds back to Ricky Rudd.
Spencer had an awfully good run here a couple of years ago in a car with Travis Carter. And he likes this racetrack.
Of course, Junior Johnson has the most wins of any car owner here, and this is the battle for third position between Rusty and Kenny.
Rusty Wallace not hooked up like he was last year, Ned.
Doesn't seem to be, but not today.
Of course, it's still early. He may get it before the day's over.
You can rest assured that Buddy Parrott and them will be making a lot of adjustments on the car. Here's Terry Labonte moving into fifth place.
Terry gets it.
There's Morgan Shepherd right behind him. Morgan's a lap down. He's being shown in 12th position.
Was as high as third in points after the first race, has dropped to a low of 12th in the points over the last 5 races. There is the leader of the event, who is second in NASCAR Winston Cup points, but has led all but about 3 laps here this afternoon. The top 10 at 131 laps: Ernie Irvin, Jimmy Spencer, Rusty Wallace, Ken Schrader, and Terry Labonte. In 6th position is Rudd, then Earnhardt, Kyle Petty, Mark Martin, and Sterling Marlin. We'll be back with more of our live coverage from North Wilkesboro Speedway in North Carolina right after these messages. Yep. Don't say that.
Earnhardt struggling. Tell you what, Kyle Petty looks to have the second best car out there.
He sure does.
He or Spencer won.
I think it's Kyle, because Kyle was pulled away from him.
Yeah. He really is fast.
Okay. Right.
I need to mention that there's 8,000
Hi, Mark. Bob Jenkins. Good to see you. Benny
Hey, Mark,
Parsons,
how are
Ned
you?
Jarrett.
Good to see you, sir.
Ned Jarrett, very good.
You hear him, Mark? Do you hear the producer?
Wait a minute. Let me give him the box.
No, he's not hearing anything. Turn these knobs so you hear something. Hear something now? Talk to him, Neil.
Test 1, 2, 3. You hear anything now? Nope, apparently not.
What a mess up here. What a mess. I don't understand why that doesn't work.
He's not hearing you, Neil.
Do you hear? Is the volume being increased as you? Okay. Okay. Oh, okay.
right. The guy's got to come in and change it back over. We'll be all right in a minute. He's working on it.
Bobby's working on it. I think he'll have it switched over by then. 30 seconds, Bobby. Can you get it done? You okay? Okay. Talk to him, Neil.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
Bobby, you're good.
Thank you, Bobby. Okay. How about that? Okay. Welcome back to the First Union 400 NASCAR Winston Cup race from North Wilkesboro, North Carolina, that is currently being led by Ernie Irvan. The 5 car has slipped to 4th position.
Got by Rusty Wallace on the last lap. There goes their 2nd place car. There's their 3rd place car, 4th and 5th.
Of course, that 5 car is Terry Labonte.
Yep. You know, a week from today, after the Martinsville race that we'll have live for you, we'll have 2 days. We'll begin 2 days of coverage of the NFL draft. Now, I realize that the Carolina Panthers aren't going to be involved in that draft. However, we have with us in the booth the Director of Business Operations for Richardson Sports Limited Partnerships, and they, of course, own the NFL franchise known as the Carolina Panthers. Mark Richardson, welcome to the broadcast booth here, Mark.
Thank you, Bob. It's good to be with you this afternoon.
You a race fan?
I am, especially today.
Boy, it's hard to grow up in North Carolina without being, huh?
It is. I grew up here in the Carolinas and started watching about 7 years ago when I moved up to Charlotte, and have really enjoyed it.
You grew up around, or went to Spartanburg High School, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. Clemson University.
Yes, sir. And when you come to a race, you never know when you might find a football coach.
That's true.
Well, you see Dale Earnhardt, the Goodrich Chevrolet, is struggling a little bit right now, Ned.
Yes, he is. The car seems to have gone away a little bit. Here's Ernie Irvan starting to lap cars again.
So Earnhardt is a lap down now. Well, okay, we got to ask you, Mark. There's the Joe Gibbs-owned Interstate Battery Chevy, driven by Dale Jarrett. Does Joe have a future with the Carolina Panthers?
Well, I think that's up to Coach Gibbs to decide. Of course, we had an interest in him. Anybody who's looking for an NFL head coach would have an interest in Joe Gibbs. But his decision earlier was he doesn't want to get into coaching. He's enjoying NASCAR, and he wants to concentrate his efforts there. So I think really the ball's in his court if he wants to get back into the NFL.
Well, aren't you going to be at Martinsville next week? 2 weeks in a row you go to the races?
No, I'm not going to be there in 2 weeks, but I will be watching the NFL draft on the ESPN.
There you go. I am sure there was a lot more work than meets the eye to establishing, first of all, getting the franchise, and then all of the work that goes into putting a team together before they actually get on the field.
It is. It's a tremendous amount of work, but we're very fortunate here in the Carolinas. You see on an afternoon like today at the First Union 400, they've got packed stands, and just riding around and looking around earlier, there were a lot of Carolina Panthers caps, and if you see the people here at the NASCAR racing, they're very loyal, and that's the same type of loyalty and support that we're anticipating when the Panthers start play.
Recognize that guy?
I sure do. It looked better with a cap on.
This says Carolina Panthers.
Right.
I tell you, Mark, it has surprised me traveling all over the country, and you see those Panther caps and shirts and things like that. You folks are doing a good job in that, getting the word out and marketing.
Well, thank you. It's NFL Properties helped develop our logo, and I think the popularity of the team is based on the logo, the nickname, and also the color scheme. It seems like the black, blue, and silver combination has been very popular, not only here in the Carolinas, but across the United States and also internationally.
We're watching 16th, 17th, and 18th here with Jeff Gordon, Harry Gant, and Bill Elliott. Elliott has been falling back. He started in 4th position on lap 86. He was back to 10th, then 15th, moved up to 12th, and then has fallen back to his current standing of 17th. So the problems for Bill Elliott are rearing their ugly head again.
Bob, I thought I heard us say when Dale Jarrett was lap there a moment ago, we might have said Dale Earnhardt. So for the fans, it was not Dale Earnhardt. He has not gone a lap down. He's not running as good as he was, but he's in 7th position, still on the lead lap.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, he's, well, almost a half a lap from being lapped. So that was my mistake. Earnhardt is on the lead lap in 7th position. Here is a battle for 2nd position between Jimmy Spencer and Kenny Schrader. And Kenny looks like he's going to get 2nd.
That second place last week at Bristol went to Schrader's head, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. He wants to do it again.
Yeah.
And improve one spot.
He has been running good all year long.
He really has.
He currently stands 4th in the Winston Cup point standings. Hasn't had a victory in quite a while, but he's been knocking on the door.
Spencer finally decided, look, let me let him by. Let's get in line because we're just losing ground running side by side like this.
Mark, we were talking about, look at the interval, Schrader to Ernie Irvan. It has been chopped from 6.6 seconds on lap 147 down to 5.7. So almost a 1 second gain that Schrader has made on the leader, Ernie Irvan, in that 5-lap period.
It seems the longer Schrader runs, the better his car. The track sort of comes to him. Others seems to go away.
Now here is Earnhardt and Rusty Wallace.
And Earnhardt alongside Rusty Wallace trying to take that position away.
That's 6th position they're battling for.
Ricky Rudd has gone by both of them.
Yep, Rusty came out in 2nd place and now he's back to 7th place. This car just not working like we normally, like Benny said when he won 2 races here last year.
There's Musgrave, the Family Channel car, going past.
Henson 14 the lap down. He's not on the same lap as Rusty or Dale. Look at the front fender on the 25. It's been hit. Jerry, what about that?
Well, Bob, NASCAR has told both the teams, number 25 of Kenny Schrader and Ricky Rudd, who had the almost identical problem in the car number 10, the Tide Chevrolet Tide Ford. At the next pit stop, they will have to bend those left front fenders back in. Otherwise, this close racing at Wilkesboro could possibly allow a cut tire, that fender being bent outward on the left front.
So we'll watch for that to occur when Schrader comes in for his pit stop.
And Dale Earnhardt went by Ricky Rudd. So Earnhardt now moved up to 5th spot. I said a moment ago he's running badly, but it seems like he's getting the handle back and going towards the front.
There's the leader, Ernie Irvan.
And John Kernan, what's the story with Ricky Rudd?
Well, Benny, he has radioed in and told Bill Engel that the car is not as good as it was, that the car continually is getting loose and harder to drive. Now, we would anticipate pit stops in about 25 to 30 laps. They would change 4 tires and also make a chassis adjustment to try to tighten the car up.
I've seen Rudd come off the corner, and Musgrave just pulled alongside with ease.
Yeah, Rudd's car is definitely not handling the way he would like for it to right now. He had made a move up towards the front, but maybe he punished those tires a little bit too much in doing so.
We're up to 163 laps completed as the race moving along quickly here with Ernie Irvan leading at North Wilkesboro. Okay. All right.
Okay, thank you.
Is that Jeff Bodine passing Spencer?
So we got Hendrick cars running second and third, huh?
Yep.
Okay.
Brett.
They are. Back at the first Union 400, pit stops are now occurring. That was the first one. Brett Bodine came in, got some tires and fuel, and is back out. Hud Strickland also there. You see him rolling back out of the pit area. So it isn't going to be long before we see everybody come in, including that man right there, Ernie Irvan.
Once the pit stop start, everyone just basically got to stop because it's such an advantage to have those fresh tires on.
And there is your interval leaderboard showing you that Schrader is 3 seconds behind Ernie and
Still gaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was over 5 seconds the last time we looked.
And about 5.2 seconds separate first and fifth position.
Tell you what, these guys start pitting on the green flag. That's where you can make or lose a lot of ground because 1 second in the pits is probably 7,500 yards on the racetrack.
Spencer has fallen to fourth position as Ken Schrader there in car 25 has moved to second, and Terry Labonte is now running third. Mark Richardson, a partner in the Carolina Panthers NFL team, still with us up there in the booth. And you talked a little bit earlier about how there's a lot of Panther hats and other things occurring. And although there is a lot of work to sell tickets and so forth, simply getting an NFL franchise is quite a thing for the people of this area.
Well, it is. It was a 7-year effort, and I think the reason we were selected is because of the outstanding fans we have in the Carolinas and also the outstanding corporate support we've had. We've seen First Union support a race like this, and all the Carolina corporations came out and supported our effort as we were going for an NFL team.
Earnhardt and Spencer side by side. This is fourth position with a fourth spot, and looks like Earnhardt has it. And Rusty Wallace is coming down pit road.
Rusty seventh. Comes in for the stop. Here's Jerry Punch to call Rusty's pit stop.
And we should expect to see most of the other top lead cars come in the next handful of laps, especially Jimmy Spencer, who's been way back on lap 411. His tires have completely gone away. Right side tires already haven't gone on. Last year's winner of both events at Wilkesboro Speedway, Rusty Wallace and Miller Genuine Drive. Major chassis adjustment left rear. Scott Parrott, 16.2 seconds. And folks, that's quick.
Wow, that is unbelievable.
Man, that gave you some spots on the racetrack.
No kidding.
Wow.
I'm not sure that we've seen one that fast this year.
I don't think so. I don't recall me either.
Have we ever seen one that fast? 16.2.
That was awesome. And the caution is out. Greg Sachs has hit the wall.
Well, the caution is not out, is it? No,
there's no yellow flag.
It was up in corner 4, and he simply drove it down off the banking and into the pit area. Both side right tires are flat. Well, at least the right front is.
He's made some pretty heavy contact with the wall. He finally stops.
Boy, that would have been a terrible break for Rusty if that caution had come out, huh?
Yes, it would have. They're not going to be able to get the jack under until they lift it up because the car is too low there on the right front with the flat tire. Boy, that cost a lot of extra time. And Jimmy Spencer in the McDonald's Ford coming into the pits, and Jerry Punch is there.
And they were thinking about just changing 2 tires, but Spencer and the crew and Peter Johnson holds up 4 fingers, so they will change all 4 tires. Mike Hill, the crew chief, right rear tire going on, getting it completely full of fuel. The Big M, McDonald's Ford Thunderbird, left side tire. Remember, 3 weeks ago, Spencer hit the wall here when the throttle stuck, broke his right shoulder. He has not been bothered at all today. Left side tire is going on. 1 round to right here, and he is away.
20.8 seconds for Spencer, and now here's Kyle Petty rolling down.
He came out of his pits up off the turn 4, and Jeff Gordon made a pit stop as well while we were watching Jimmy Spencer make a pit stop.
Greg Sachs remains on pit road as they work on the right side of that car. Here's the leader, Irvan.
Here comes Mark Martin. down pit road to make his scheduled pit stop. Comes to stop. Jeff Troxler throws the jack under the right side. Steve Meal go change to the right front. Cora Martin back on the right rear. Here comes Bill Elliott. Brings the Budweiser Ford in.
Spin it all the way down towards turn 1. And everybody will change 4 tires as Martin heads back out.
Keeping it under the 35-mile-an-hour speed limit here is Harry Gant.
Going back on the racetrack after making pit stop. Harry Gant is sharing the pit today.
Bobby Labonte is getting right side work on his car.
Bobby Labonte also sharing the pit with Dale Jarrett.
And Bill Elliott is back on the track, as you can see.
Putting one round the wedge in that Maxwell House Pontiac. Away he goes.
And you can see that Spencer has passed Ernie Irvan, an example of how much faster you are when you're on fresh tires.
Now, he had gone 2 laps down when he made his pit stop, Spencer did, so now he is 1 lap down to Ernie Irvan. I expect we'll see Irvan coming in before too long, because those guys that he has been racing against, although they haven't been close to him, but when they're out there running that fast. Here's Jeff Burton going by. He had a little new tire, so does Bobby Labonte. I think they'll bring him in before too long.
We're on lap 186. 14 laps away from the halfway point.
Jeremy Mayfield is leaving the pits and slowly backed off so the leader could go by as Sterling Marlin of Kodak Film Chevrolet makes a pit stop.
And behind him, Lake Speed and Terry Labonte, who was running in the top 5. Labonte on the left of your screen, way up at the top. Ricky Rudd comes in, and here is Ernie Irvan making his way down pit road, the leader of the race, going by Labonte and coming to a rest in his pit stall.
Dale Earnhardt coming down pit road as well as we watch from high above. And Ernie Irvan, there we have see all 3 of them making pit stops. Ricky Rudd is out. Terry Labonte is out. That side work going on the Avalon Ford of Ernie Irvan.
Labonte back on the track as Rudd makes his way down the pit road, and Ernie Irvan will fall in right behind Ricky. There you can see that Dale Earnhardt's crew working on the GM Goodwrench Chevrolet. About an 18.5-second pit stop for Irvan. And the work completed on Earnhardt's car, and he rolls away. Here's Ken Schrader, who took over the lead, but now comes in for his second scheduled pit stop.
He stayed out there the time before when they made a green flag pit stop, Bob, and was pretty far behind once they got those stops made. And I think they decided we've led a lap already, so let's don't get ourselves in that position. Let him be out there running 1.5 or 2 seconds a lap faster than we are on the old tires. So they came in 19.4. Pretty good pit stop for Ken Schrader and the Kodiak team.
Now with everybody having pitted, the lead goes back again to Ernie Irvan.
Morgan Shepherd had just been in the sit-go forward, had to come back in. Apparently, they left the lug nut loose or something. He came back down pit road for the second time. That's going to cost Morgan.
Here's Jeff Bodine coming in.
Well, Jeff was being shown in second place after the other pit stops.
Right side's going on. That first lug nut tighten on the right rear, so the jack goes down. 16, 17, 18, 19. Pretty good pit stop. 20 seconds flat.
Just a little less than 20 seconds for Jeff, and he moves back out onto the racetrack. And so as we approach the halfway point, it's still Ernie Irvan leading the First Union 400. We'll be right back. Okay.
Is Michael is he 2 laps down? Yep. you say Ernie Irvin?
Okay.
Race for second.
Yep. Ernie Irvin leads the first Union 400. Here's the battle for second spot. That is Jimmy Spencer in 27 and Rusty Wallace in 2.
Well, as a result of that fantastic pit stop by Rusty Wallace, he has gotten into second place after the round of pit stops, but now he has moved back to third, or about to at least.
Spencer's trying to move him back to third spot. He finally does that.
Of course, Rusty's tires are older. He was one of the first ones to stop. So he's been out there a little while on them.
And I'll tell you what, I don't know that these guys are not gaining on our leader, Ernie Irvin, although Ernie Irvin is causing some pretty heavy traffic right now. There he is as he's going by Darrell Walter, putting him a lap down. That's Dick Trickle right in front of Ernie. By the way, Dick Trickle, they carrying the Meineke Muffler sponsorship off the Joe Nemechek car.
Well, the most recent round of pit stops saw Rusty Wallace having just an absolutely fantastic tire change, and not a bad one for Ernie Irvin either, as his Texaco Haviland crew did a great job getting him in and out of the pits with 4 tires and fuel. Let's watch as Joey Knuckles wears the crew cam.
Lug nuts are loose. Tire goes on. Jeff Clark drops that jack. Let's just listen.
And that's the way a pit stop is done.
You talk about a frantic Friday and what kind of Saturday?
A Saturday scramble.
Or what kind of Sunday would you call it? Man, madhouse down there. Dick Trickle moves over. Irvin goes by.
With fresh tires on, here's how much you increase your speed from 104 before the tire change to above 113 with the fresh set.
Now that's a truer reading than we saw a little bit ago, because he had run the full stop on the tires this time, and the other time he had only run 30 or 40 laps.
There's 2, 3, and 4. Spencer in second, Rusty Wallace in third, and Kenny Schrader has moved up right on the back bumper of Rusty Wallace.
Schrader has the freshest tires of that threesome. He stopped a little bit later than they did.
Jerry Punch is with Greg Sachs down on pit road.
Actually, Bobby's back in the garage area after qualifying 6. They had a great run going, Greg. It was going awfully well, and you had a problem. What happened?
Well, I'll tell you, Jerry, it's a real shame. The USA Jasper and Ford Thunderbird was really strong today. You know, we got caught in the beginning there, speeding on pit road, and that cost us a lap, but the car was real strong. We were coming back well, and apparently cut down the right front tire going into turn 3, and the car just went straight up into the wall.
How bad's it hurt?
It's hurt pretty bad. They got to put a new truck arm on the right rear and do some repairs to the right front suspension. But we'll do our best to get the USA Jasper and Ford Thunderbird back on the track and get the most points we can.
Tony Furr and the crew beneath the car here in the garage area trying to replace those trailing arms, and they're trying to get the car 77 back on the Speedway.
All right, thanks very much, Jerry. Rusty Wallace slides backwards. He's gone from second to fourth here in just a few laps. So those seconds that he gained in the pits are being lost on the racetrack. And here now is a battle shaping up for second as Schrader begins to challenge Spencer.
I'm telling you, Schrader is running. Spencer spins and backs her in the wall.
Jimmy Spencer's quest for his first win, and he was running as well as anybody out there, with the possible exception of Ernie Irvin, may have come to an end here as he has contact with Ken Schrader.
He at least goes a lap down. There we see the leader come by, and I think the 8 beat him back, but I'm not sure the 16 made that lap up.
We'd like to thank Mark Richardson for stopping up and spending a few minutes with us here in the booth. And Mark, a lot of good luck with the Carolina Panthers, just not a whole lot of luck against the Indianapolis Colts, where I hail from.
Well, you got to be careful when you say that down here.
Stop those Colts, Mark.
Anyway, thanks for joining us. Good luck to you.
Thank you. It's been nice being with you today.
All right. Mark Richardson, partner in the Carolina Panthers, the 26th 29th, I should say, NFL franchise. Let's go to Jerry Punch.
And we should be seeing pit stops as Ernie Irvan leads the parade down pit road. He is the first car to come down at 35 miles an hour. One car spins, and apparently Jimmy Spencer retaliated a little bit with Kenny Schrader. As Schrader's car gets spun sideways, Spencer brings the mangled McDonald's Ford down pit road. I'm sure NASCAR will take a long, stiff, hard look at that as the car number 28 now getting left side tires. Here is Kenny Schrader finally getting to his pits as they, I'm not sure whether that's steam on Schrader's windshield or possibly just water they sprayed there to clean it. And now Ernie Irvan is down and away, and Ricky Rudd is also in the pits, as is the car number 25 of Kenny Schrader.
There we see the two cars moving. Ricky Rudd is starting to move, but the cars in front of him on down pit road already moving as Schrader, Labonte, and Kyle Petty all go back on the racetrack.
Well, that was quite a few minutes there, wasn't it?
Man, I'm telling you.
Now we have a very busy pit road as those who were a lap down come on to pit road for their service. And here is the replay.
Well, it's one of those situations going in the corner, and Spencer thought the racetrack was his. Schrader thought the racetrack was his. They made contact, and around goes Spencer, and luckily no one else hit him.
And from another angle,
Schrader gets the nose up there going into the turn, and Jimmy comes down as he normally would going into that turn. Schrader hits the curbing on the inside with his left wheels, threw him right on over into Spencer.
And then here's what happened as they were slowed down and Kenny was about to make a pit stop.
Well, Jimmy runs up and gives him a pretty good bump. And again, lifts Schrader's back wheels off the ground and spins him right around.
Well, of course, you think of the possibility, at least, not saying that it's going to happen, but the possibility of a penalty box situation occurring, and I guess that is indeed what is occurring as the NASCAR officials are standing in front of McDonald's Ford and holding him for his retaliation to Kenny Schrader. That reminds us that the Stanley Cup playoffs are in action, and tomorrow night at 7:30 Eastern Time, you can enjoy the New York Islanders against the New York Rangers. That's the Stanley Cup playoffs on ESPN tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern Time.
Now Schrader came back in the pits and they had the hood up, didn't they? I was watching all the replays and I just saw him down the pits and they looked like they were putting the hood pins back in. I don't know, and there's Spencer still sitting in the pits.
Jimmy Spencer still on pit road being held by the NASCAR officials. Short track racing at its best, friends, and we're just a little past the halfway mark. Stay with us for more of the First Union 400.
Are we going to promo Martinsville next week? Okay, I just want to, there's 8,000 unreserved seats go on sale next Sunday morning. I just want to say that. 5 laps. Darrell Derringer led them all in 1966. Wasn't it Ed or 67? Darrell Derringer led every lap here.
60. I'm not sure what year. 67.
Now what are they doing?
Trying to get it started, I think.
Oh. Okay. Welcome back to North Wilkesboro in the First Union 400 NASCAR Winston Cup race under caution. And here is our Busch Beer race summary. Ernie Irvan, look at this, has led 205 of the first 213 laps. 5 lead changes, 3 drivers. 7 cars are on the lead lap. We've been under caution for 3 times, and the average speed of the race is 99.369 miles an hour. Those that have led a lap besides Irvin, just Kenny Schrader and Bobby Hamilton. And those that have dropped out of the race, only one driver officially out. That is Jay Hedgecock, although the 77 car remains on pit road with Craig Sachs. Here's Jerry Punch.
Kenny Schrader making his 3rd stop on pit road during this caution period as we get the 1 to go signal from our flagman Green next time by. Apparently they have bent the tie rod in the right front. They had no time to fix it now. The tire is towed out just a little bit. That contact bending the right front tie rod in the Kodiak Chevrolet. Meanwhile, they held the 27 car 5 laps. Could not get the car refired. Now they push the car back up pit road and apparently will head toward the garage area.
So both cars and drivers involved in that little incident were damaged in some way as the Family Channel blimp hovers high above the racetrack and right over the head of Doyle Ford. Here's a replay now of the Schrader and Spencer incident.
Well, Schrader gets on the inside of Spencer going into turn 3, and right here's where he bent his tie rod when he jumped up on that curbing down on the inside. And they get together. Spencer spins into the wall, and then when they were headed down pit road, Jimmy came up to retaliate a little bit, runs into the back of Ken Schrader. You can see it bent the back bumper there just a little bit, hits him again, takes his wheels off the ground and spins him right around.
5-lap penalty for Jimmy Spencer. Here's the green flag. We go back to racing. It is Schrader now falling back to 7th position as Rusty Wallace is 2nd, followed by Labonte. Earnhardt is to 4th, and Kyle Petty up to 5th.
Yeah, Kyle Petty got back into the lead lap during that exchange of green flag pit stop, which documented how well he had been running, and so he got back in the lead lap on those green flag pit stops.
Now let's see if anyone can catch Ernie Irvin. Haven't been able to all day. Maybe with these last tire changes, chassis adjustments, someone has hit on the combination to be able to compete with the Havoline Ford.
We'll go high above in the Family Channel blimp and show you a few laps from that vantage point.
There's Kyle Petty right in front of Sterling Marlin.
Jerry punches with Jimmy Spencer.
And they are trying to raise the car up to get the jack beneath the car. He sits inside the car. Jimmy, after a great run out there, you're in the garage. What actually happened?
Well, Kenny Schrader just ran down in the corner and hit me, spun me out. I don't believe it was intentional. And then of all things, I got my car jammed in gear, and I couldn't get the thing out. It slowed down quick enough. I hit him in the back end, bumped him. I didn't mean to spin him out, but that's one of the things, it's just racing, and I just hope he has a good finish, but I look at it as racing. What goes around comes around.
Jimmy, what's wrong with the car now? You came down pit road and told you a little bit. What's wrong with the race car?
Well, hell, he pushed the damn thing, the rear clips down on it. He pushed me down in the corner, and it's just a shame. The McDonald's team has not had any luck at all this year. We still ain't had any luck, and we just got to wait for Martinsville.
And indeed, they will wait for Martinsville, but looks like their day is probably over here in Wilkesboro.
Kyle Petty goes by Earnhardt, takes over the 4th spot, puts Earnhardt back to 5.
Kyle's running well today. He is in 4th position, and his best finish of the year so far has been a 5th at Richmond, so he's on his best performance of the year at this point as we show you a Graham Field summary. 7 cars on the lead lap.
Now race for 2nd place once again. Rick Hendrick had Kenny Schrader up racing for 2nd spot and running 2nd. And he's falling back, and he's got Terry Labonte up in the Kellogg's Hornflakes car battling for that 2nd spot.
The last time the race was won from the pole, as Ernie Irvin is trying to do today, was Terry Labonte in '88.
Here in North Wilkesboro.
Sorry. What did I say?
You said the last race won from the pole.
Oh, yeah.
Here in North Wilkesboro.
In North Wilkesboro, correct.
The last time that the race was won from the pole was last fall in Martinsville, right, by Ernie Irvin.
Yep, he's the last one to get the Unical money.
Which is the reason we have a $91,200 Unical bonus available today. Kyle Petty started 28th. His highest position is his current position, 4th, and his lowest position is where he started.
And he was 28th, a lap down at one time.
Yeah, so that's worse than when he started.
Right.
Really. I mean, because he's a lap
Same
down.
position, but a lap down.
Right.
Here's John Kernan.
Well, Bob, earlier I told you that Kyle and his crew has changed everything on the race car yesterday, both the seats and the decals. Well, today, Robin Pemberton says the only thing they've done, they've made one minor chassis adjustment. Every pit stop has just been for 4 tires, so when they rebuilt that car, they made the right guess. Their strategy, 2 more stops. They'll go to lap 280, make a stop if it stays green. That way they'll have 1 more stop to make at around lap 340 as Greg Sachs sends Pence back out onto the racetrack. Bob?
He was in the pits about 53 laps, and the Jasper Engines US Air Ford is back on the track.
And as he said, he wants to get back out and maybe have a chance to gain some position. Somebody else would have to fall out for him to do it, but that would mean a few points if that does happen.
Ernie Irvan leading in the Hamelin Texaco Ford in the First Union 400. Here's the top 10 now. Ernie Irvan the leader. Rusty Wallace is running in second spot. Terry Labonte third, then Kyle Petty and Dale Earnhardt. In sixth position after 230 laps, it's Ricky Rudd, Ken Schrader, Sterling Marlin, Mark Martin, and Harry Gant. Stay with us for more of our live coverage from North Wilkesboro. We'll be right back after these messages with more. Okay.
Brotherly love, right? I was talking about the 26 and 75 got together coming off 4.
This is the 7th race of the season for the NASCAR Winston Cup cars at the First Union 400 in North Wilkesboro, North Carolina. And the leader is Ernie Irvan. He has led 229 of the 237. Here is Mark Martin, who is in 9th position, a lap down.
We'll move inside Mark's car. Take a lap or so with him as he goes around. We'll watch the telemetry and see what kind of RPMs, what kind of speed he's able to attain. 8,400 I saw. I'll watch the RPM. Somebody else got to watch the miles per hour.
129, I believe. 85 to 129.
Down the back straightaway should be a little bit slower.
Speed was the same. Yeah, 129.
85 again then. Huh. Very consistent.
We'll go in Derek Cope's car and the finger hub forward and see as he's right behind the Adidas Factory Stores of America. Todd Bodine. 7,900, so not turning near the RPMs.
It could be a difference in gearing or speed on the racetrack. more than likely Darrington's running a little higher gear ratio, which would not turn the engine as many RPMs. Of course, he's not running quite as fast down the straightaway. We saw 126 there. Of course, we saw Mark 129.
Feel on the brake.
It's Chuck Bound to the inside going by. Uh-oh, John Andretti's in the wall. Turn 4 between 3 and 4. Andretti was running 30th. Financial World Magazine car has come in contact with the wall in turns 3 and 4, and the caution comes out over the speedway once again. And this is the 4th time this afternoon that Doyle has had to reach for the yellow.
Telling the slow cars, come on, catch up with the field.
Look at that beautiful blue sky overhead.
That is really Carolina blue there.
Boy, it is. This is just a perfect day. You couldn't order one better than this. Well, the pace car is out there. The field is stacked up behind it. That means that the pits are open. And a triple split for you. Kyle Petty on the bottom. He's had some great pit stops this afternoon. Here's John Kernan.
Bob, it's going to be a 4-tire change. They're going to make a minor chassis adjustment, try to tighten the car up a little bit.
Now Ernie Irvan and Rusty Wallace are on the top. Here's Jerry.
And Ernie Irvan's already had right side cut. They put 1 round of bite in the car. 21.7 for Kyle as he is down pit road. The mellow yellow Pontiac headed toward us. Ernie Irvan's already 16.3 seconds for Larry McReynolds led crew of Ernie Irvan. 18.8 seconds for Rusty Wallace, the Miller Genuine Draft Ford. We might mention they put 1 round of bite in the car number 28, the left rear, and a great pit stop as the crowd cheering in the background for the Texaco Haviland crew.
Wow, that was a match of what Rusty Wallace's crew turned in earlier.
It sure was. And look at Dale Earnhardt now. He was down at the end where we really couldn't see, and I don't know how they're going to rule that at the end of the line down there, Ned.
I tell you, he made a whalable pit stop because he's going to be up there in 2nd or 3rd place.
Dale Earnhardt has positioned himself ahead of Rusty Wallace and behind Ernie Irvan. We'll see if that's the way they take the green flag. When we come back to North Wilkesboro, North Carolina, and the First Union 400. Stay with us.
Larry McReynolds and the guys were, the reason they were celebrating is that their clocks here in the 28 pit had that pit stop at 15:91.
Wow.
Did anybody have Neil, did you have the crash between the 7 and the 4 on pit road?
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, just now. As these other cars were leaving the race, leaving pit road, the 3 and the 4 and the 7 crashed coming off pit road. 4's coming back down pit road. Okay. See the damage on the right front of the 4 car?
Yep.
We'll head down to the 4 pits, guys.
Ned.
Yep. Benny and Ned.
Bring Jeff
right.
Bodine back in.
Hey, put some hair, put a wig on that guy.
Look at the left front of Bodine's here. Just peeled it away with a big can opener.
We're still under caution here at North Wilkesboro. The pit summary shows you that Ernie Irvan came in first and went out first. Rusty Wallace lost 1 position. Terry Labonte lost 4. Kyle Petty maintained, and Dale Earnhardt made the big move, going from 5th before he came in to 2nd as he came out. Hey, look at this. Well, at least they got the no hair on the guy on the left, right, huh?
I need to buy a wig for that guy. See that right now? That's pretty good.
guys.
Ned, you are getting younger every day, aren't
Well,
you?
it looks that way.
I think that was me, Ned. I think that's me there on the right.
Okay,
We are under caution because of John Andretti's incident with the wall up in turn 3. Looks like he may have gotten a little help there. Huh?
Sure did. Is that the 77 car?
Yes, it is.
Greg Sachs.
Yep.
In the car number 77. Touched him similar to what we saw Kenny Schrader and Jimmy Spencer.
Now, Ernie Irvan had a 16.3 second pit stop, and look at what happened when Ernie got back out onto the track. Some high fives in that pit, that's for sure, but a great effort by that crew. All right, here's the green flag, and we're back to racing now. On lap 250, we have spent the last 6 laps under caution.
Oh, wow, look at Earnhardt go up. No one else has been able to do anything with Ernie Irvan. Maybe Earnhardt can.
Winston led this race, and he'd like to get 5 bonus points.
Only Schrader and Hamilton, besides Irvan, have led today.
Rusty Wallace trying to get alongside Earnhardt and take that second spot away.
There's still 7 cars in the lead lap, and there are 2 of them battling for second place. Mark Martin, Victor there, shown in the 8th position. He's 1 lap down.
Rusty is going to take second from Dale. Although Earnhardt is not very anxious to give up that position. He still works the high side of the racetrack.
Finally does take that second spot away.
Mark Martin is in 8th position, a lap down. That's the car that's right behind Dale.
And I'll tell you while we watch this, Jimmy Spencer has got the McDonald's score going. He's back on the racetrack.
Riding with Mark Martin. Now Rusty beginning to move away from Earnhardt just a little bit.
Here comes Kyle Petty. Moves alongside Lake Speed. Kyle Petty might have the second best car here this afternoon. There's Schrader.
Lake Speed is in 21st position, being shown 3 laps down.
Here's an Autolite field summary. There are 7 cars on the lead lap. Eric Spot in 7th position. There he is, running alongside Ricky Rudd.
He'll take him the spot away, and here comes Jeff Gordon. He is a lap or so down.
1 lap, yeah, 11th. Hey, look at this. Now Petty challenges Earnhardt for 3rd and gets it.
Kyle Petty running right on the bottom of the racetrack. It looks like his car is cooked up, and here comes Schrader. He'll take the spot away from Earnhardt.
So Neil drops from 2nd back to 4th, and maybe 5th here in just a few seconds is going to be. So, something not right with that the way that Dale would like to have it.
As we watch this, Chuck Bound has just retired for the day, pulling the car in the garage area.
Chuck was being shown in 16th position. He was 2 laps down to having a good run.
Right inside with Mark Martin. Right beside of him is Michael Walker, the Pennzoil car. That was not for position. Michael's still a lap down to Mark Martin.
2 laps down to the leader. Michael is in 14th position.
Here's Harry Gant in the Skull Bandit car. Let's say hello to Ed Whitaker, who had bypass heart surgery this week. Harry Gant drives Ed Whitaker's car in the Busch Series, and they've had a win so far this year.
And that is a battle for position. Both of those drivers a lap down, so that's the battle for 8th. And there is Dale Earnhardt, who has dropped back to 5th. Jerry, what's wrong?
Bob just spoke to Richard Childress. He said the problem they've got is their car is just too tight to run down low in the bottom of the racetrack where the other cars are very, very fast. The 28 to 2. After about 10 laps, their car comes in, but they've run their better laps up high on the outside groove. And Earnhardt said the car is very, very tight, very difficult to turn, particularly from the middle of the corner out.
Well, we mentioned that very early in the race about how this car seemed to be working better up high.
Yes, we did. And Earnhardt, being the professional he is, has been able to find where his car runs best around the racetrack. No one else is running that groove, but Earnhardt is and making good time, as good as his car will run.
Ernie Modesto, California.
There we see Spencer, McDonald's car.
Second, third, battle for second. Here's Petty moving inside of Rusty.
He has run him down, caught him, passed him.
Boy, Kyle, by far his best performance of 1991 today.
He was quoted in the paper saying his car was junk here on Friday.
Well, they've done something.
Yeah, they have. He was the second round fastest qualifier yesterday, but still started back in 28th position, but now is to second.
Champions and Schrader, Earnhardt.
I attended a luncheon earlier this week at which Dale Earnhardt was the featured speaker, and he does a great job. Most of it was questions and answers, but boy, he fielded the questions just really well and did a fine job. Here's the interval between first and second and third. The snapshot will allow you to see who's running where on the racetrack. Ernie once again to complete another lap. So he now leads Kyle Petty, who has moved to second position with 134 laps to go. Rusty Wallace is running in third spot. Ken Schrader has now moved to fourth, and Dale Earnhardt has dropped back to fifth position. 6 through 10, it's Terry Labonte, Ricky Rudd, Harry Gant is running eighth, Rick Mast is ninth, and Mark Martin is running in 10th position. Stay with us. More live action from North Wilkesboro, North Carolina, coming up. Okay. Okay. All right. Well, here comes Dale back again, huh?
Yep.
Okay. Just about 3 o'clock, isn't it? Just about 3 o'clock Eastern time. Oh, okay.
Following the race today, special Rusty Wallace merchandise available to you right here on NASCAR Shop Talk. This item and many others with this guy, Rusty Wallace, climbing from the car and joining us right here. You'd better hurry.
It was a quick trip. I made it, though.
Right after the race, join us for Shop Talk.
That's coming up at 4 o'clock Eastern time, about 1 hour from now. It's 3 o'clock Eastern time, and if you're just joining us, welcome to the First Union 400. 273 laps have been completed. Ernie Irvan is the leader of the race with Kyle Petty running second. We're riding with Rusty Wallace. He is third. Fourth is Dale Earnhardt, and fifth is Ken Schrader. Earnhardt passed Schrader while we were in break, and so Dale is headed back toward the front, or at least he gained one position.
By the way, that is a new Shop Talk. Rusty was a guest last year on Shop Talk. This is an all-new show. E&E Live. And there's the guy that's been dominating the competition today. I guess we call him the dominator. Well, we've already got a guy with that name, though, don't we?
He has led 266 of 274 laps. And I think the only time he didn't lead was during those laps when he was making a pit stop or trying to get back to the lead. Here's Jerry Punch.
Guys, in years past, the teams used to build cars for the different sizes of racetracks, short track, intermediate track, and super speedway. But now, the 28 team, they built the car depending upon the banking of the track. This is their flat racetrack race car. The car they ran last fall at Martinsville and won the race. The car that Ernie drove at Richmond early this year and won. And of course, 1 year ago at Richmond in 1992, this was the car that Davey Allison drove to victory in his final win.
So Ernie go by the 4 car just a moment ago, the Kodak Film Chevrolet. The last time on the pit stops on the second time around, Ernie Irvin and Jeff Bodine made some contact on pit road, and it really knocked the toe in out on both cars, and both Jeff Bodine and Ernie had to slow down.
And that put Sterling Marlin 2 laps down. He's being shown in 13th position.
And Jeff Bodine is still 1 lap down. I meant Sterling Marlin. That's it. If I said Ernie Irvin, I spoke incorrectly. Sterling Marlin and Jeff Bodine made contact on pit road. But yeah, I still had Ernie in the Kodak Film Chevrolet.
Well, shame on you if you did.
There's our leader, a second place car. There's Kyle Petty for second place.
Kyle Petty has climbed from a low of 39th in points after Daytona to his current standing of 11th in the point standings. Last year he finished second in this race. Kyle Petty did. Right now we're riding with Derek Cope.
Derek Cope is 26th right now.
Now down to 87. Let's see what the top end is. 125. Now to Mark Martin. Camera over his left shoulder.
Oh, that's a weird looking shot. 129 miles an hour.
Look how he uses his right hand over on the left side of the steering wheel. By the way, you saw Darrell Waltrip pit just a few laps ago, and you can see how he, with the new tires, has been able to pass Mark.
And Mark a little sideways as he come off the corner, had to correct quickly. He's trying to keep up with Darrell with those fresh tires. It ain't gonna work, Mark.
Did they use the brake? Getting into the turns here.
Schrader and Earnhardt are battling for position again. They've been trading this spot for the last few laps. Now Schrader has gone back ahead of Earnhardt.
Back in 4th spot and moved Earnhardt back to 5th.
Whoops, can't go 3 wide here. Dale, he won't try that. Derek Cope moves down to the inside, out of the way. Sterling Marlin, now you got me doing it. Sterling Marlin moves back to the outside. Whoops. Contact there between Sterling and Earnhardt.
Sterling, you'll remember, led 190 of the 400 laps in last year's first Union 400.
All right, east of Volvo.
Yep. Here is a battle for position. The 1 is Rick Mast. The 24 is Jeff Gordon. Then Jeff Bodine.
Also in that race.
Yeah.
The 1 car of Rick Mast is in 9th position. Jeff Gordon is 10th. Jeff Bodine is 11th. And
Derek Cope comes
into the pits. Yep.
Mast gets alongside of Sterling Marlin, and thought Jeff Gordon would make it through a press.
So did I.
See Dave Marcus back there trying to run that high group as well. Dale Earnhardt.
Dale Jarrett, of course, is also in this group of cars. He is in 27th position.
Yeah, they just left Dale Jarrett. Dale's having a tough day here today. That's about as bad as I've seen him run in the race. Just I gave him some advice, and apparently it was ill advice.
Way to go, Dad.
Apologize to him.
Well, there's two things going to happen there. And number one, you're not going to do that anymore. And number two, they won't listen to you anymore.
That's right.
Now we see Terry Labonte taking the position away from Dale Earnhardt. So Earnhardt goes back to 6th now.
And Michael Waltrip went by as well. He is a lap down to this, 2 laps down to this group of cars.
By the way, we can tell you that Ernie Irvan, the leader, has picked up the 5 bonus points for leading the most laps.
Sterling Marlin has come into the there. He fought that thing as long as he could. Decided to bring her in and get some tires on it.
So there's good racing throughout this 5/8 of a mile oval, but Ernie Irvan has everything to himself in the lead. With 108 laps to go here, Ernie Irvan continues to hang on to first place. Kyle Petty is running second, then Rusty Wallace, Ken Schrader, and Terry Labonte. In 6th position is Dale Earnhardt. 7th is Ricky Rudd. Harry Gant runs 8th. Jeff Gordon 9th, and Jeff Bodine is running in 10th position. Stay with us. More from North Wilkesboro right after this. It is? Okay. Well, there's a Chevy in 4th. Well, I'm not. Yeah. Well, okay. Yeah, it's 2 of the 5, but it's close. Cars continue to encircle North Wilkesboro Speedway here in North Carolina. There are the top 5 and the manufacturers that they represent. Ford is leading. Petty and a Pontiac is second. Wallace and a Ford is third. And then 2 Chevys with Schrader and Labonte.
Well, we can just change that.
Okay.
Because now we got a Chevrolet in 3rd, and the Ford is back to 4th.
Schrader passes Rusty for 3rd.
In the manufacturer championship, the highest finishing position as far as the manufacturer is concerned, like right now, Ernie Irvan is leading the race in the Ford. They would get 9 points. The 2nd place car is a Pontiac. They would get 6, and the 3rd manufacturer to Chevrolet, they would get 4 points. So Ford would gain 5 points on Chevrolet today. If there were 5 Fords in the middle of a Pontiac and Chevrolet, it doesn't make any difference.
Right.
Only 1 car of each brand earns points.
That's correct. I knew you could sit there and I could anyway, man.
Schrader passing Jeff Burton. And now pulling up behind Hut Strickland here is Brett Bodine with a Quaker State Ford in. Jerry?
And 4 tires, and it take 1 round, and make it 2 rounds, make it 3 rounds. The wedge out of the left rear. They take a little bite out of the left side of the car. The car's too tight, and he is down and away after a routine pit stop.
Brett Bodine rolling back out onto the racetrack, while Schrader and Wallace continue their tussle for 3rd. Here's Bill Elliott.
Coming in that pit road.
Let's see, Dan, where's he? 15th?
15th. He was 3 laps down before he came into the pits. Here's that paddle again. Rusty trying to get on the inside of Schrader. He might have him there. They get awfully close coming off the turn.
Don't forget, Schrader has already been involved in an altercation with Jimmy Spencer, and he wondered whether or not that car was going to perform the way it did before the incident, and he's doing all right. Now here comes Labonte up behind Schrader.
I'm not sure Schrader's car is running quite as good as it was earlier, though. He was able, after they ran, 20 or so laps, he was able to come up and get in second place just about every time. He couldn't do much with Ernie Irvin, but he was beating everybody else.
He stayed on the lead lap, but the car isn't quite as good as it was. And Labonte takes over the position from Schrader. Well, we anticipate a round of pit stops happening here, which should be the final round of pit stops. So we're going to take a break here while we have relatively little action on the track or in the pit area, so we can cover these green flag pit stops. We'll be right back. Okay. IMSA. Okay. IMSA.
Caution.
Back at North Wilkesboro, where Ken Schrader has just made contact with the third turn wall and bringing out another caution, our 5th of the day. Schrader, of course, was running up in the top 5 or 6.
And he did lose a lap. Ernie Irvin, the leader, went by while he was sitting up there. And
so now this is going to set up what could be our final round of pit stops.
See the left front tire flat on Schrader's car.
This is the overhead shot from the Family Channel blimp being piloted today by Steve Tomlin. We're going to be following on this round of pit stops the 3 fastest crews that we have seen. Ernie Irvin, Rusty Wallace. Here they come on to pit road, those on the lead lap. Here's Jerry Punch.
As you watch all the action in the pits, Ernie Irvin already has right side tires off as Rusty Wallace is now getting into his pits. Now left side, Joey Nichols falls down, coming around the front of the car. Kyle is already out, but he's been way up to turn 4 as they race back to turn 1. Let's go back up there.
Kyle Petty is coming down pit road, and Dale Earnhardt just got to his pit. Ernie Irvin is left. Kyle Petty's coming down. He's going to be second. And here goes Rusty Wallace. He will come out third. Now let's see if Labonte beats Earnhardt. Yes, he does.
Boy, look how close Irvin and Wallace were on their pit stops. 18.8 and 18.7. Earnhardt just a little bit slower than that. 19.1 for Dale, but all 3 crews turning in excellent performances once again.
Now here's what brought the caution flag out. We see Jimmy Spencer on the inside, Kenny Schrader turn 3. A little bit of contact.
Looked like Spencer's car that time hit the curbing down on the inside and bounced over into him just a little bit, and around he went.
Third time that those guys have come together now on the racetrack, and again we're going to see Jimmy Spencer sent to the penalty box. The NASCAR inspector has moved in front of the car to hold it there.
Mike Hill is pleading his case with the inspector. Doesn't seem to be working.
It's Mike Hill, the crew chief, standing there beside of the NASCAR official.
Schrader started to leave, and now he stopped. I don't know exactly.
Okay, here it is again. We'll see if we hit the curb.
Looks like his car just bounces up a little bit.
Yeah, right
there.
Yeah,
it does. It bounces up and right over into Schrader.
Yep.
I don't believe that was anything intentional. I think he just got that wheel down on that curbing and bounce right over into him. I don't know.
In any case, Schrader spins into the wall and another caution comes out. Back with more racing from North Wilkesboro after this.
That's exactly what Yep. Jammed in gear.
Yeah.
I mean, we can, say this happened and that happened, what have you. We can't prove it. I mean, we can't go in that guy's mind and figure out if he intended to hit the curb, or he didn't hit the curb, or anything else. I have no idea what he was doing.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt.
That's right. He, maybe went in there and, in fact, did hit the curb. We know he hit the curb.
Yeah.
Yes, Jerry?
Well, Kenny had the right front towed out a minute ago. Now with this incident, he's got the left front towed in, so it's sort of facing toward North Wilkesboro, I think.
Which tire is? The left front's aiming toward Wilkesboro and the right front towards Winston-Salem?
I think that's it, VP.
A lap down.
Is that what that is?
I think they parked at 27.
Still under caution here in North Wilkesboro for an incident over in turn number 3 involving Ken Schrader and Jimmy Spencer. We'll take a quick break while we are still under caution. Come back with Green Flag Racing in the First Union 400. Well, I sort of mentioned it coming back from that previous break. Okay. Welcome back to North Wilkesboro, and at 4 o'clock Eastern Time, at about 42 minutes from now, at the conclusion of our coverage of this race, Eli Gold's special guest on Shop Talk is Rusty Wallace. At 5 o'clock this afternoon, same-day coverage of the Grand Prix of Atlanta IMSA race. Join us for that at 5 this afternoon Eastern Time. Green flag is out on lap 319. We ran 7 laps under caution.
All right, Kyle Petty. Has he been right behind Ernie Irvin before now?
No, I don't think he's been this close to it. So we'll see. He's been back to the track, pick a little bit. So now we'll see. We've talked about how fast Kyle has been running. We'll see. Too much whip.
There is Earnhardt on that high line again.
Trying to go by Rick Mast as Terry Labonte is trying to pass Earnhardt for position.
Rick Mast, he and a couple other drivers have made green flag pit stops. We saw Brett Bodine make a pit stop. That was a tough break for them. Caution came out, and others got to give us the caution.
And Labonte gets by, Earnhardt takes over that spot.
Labonte is 4th, Earnhardt is 5th. 6th place, the only other car on the lead lap is Ricky Rudd.
I'll tell you what, it looks to me like Kyle Petty is might be have something for Mr. Irvin.
Well, that's the closest we've seen anyone run to him all day.
Yes, it is. There's only about a 2 or 3 car length separation now between 1st and 2nd, and Kyle appears to be able to run with Ernie.
Watch how close, how he closes up on in the middle of the corner. John Kernan.
Well, Benny, they didn't make any chassis adjustment that time. It was just 4 tires for Kyle. They told him, Kyle, you can go for it, but remember, you got to run at least 80 laps on this set of tires, which means the last 20 laps, you're going to be slipping and sliding. But right now, Robin Pit are very happy with the way the car's running.
I would think so. Looking really good. And now here is Rudd and Earnhardt as they race for 5th position.
Earnhardt really gets that grip up off the corner of the high groove. Whoa! Almost a spin between Irvin and Kyle Petty.
Kyle got a nose up under him there, but just couldn't quite make the pass. There was not room there.
Kyle only has one short track victory in 112 starts. That was at Richmond back in 1986.
And that was when had the big crash with Darrell and Dale Earnhardt. And Joe Rutten was in that crash.
Here's a replay of the contact between Petty and Irvin.
Kyle got a good run coming off the turn and just tapped Irvin a little bit. He was expecting Irvin to get a bite and take off of that turn too, but just couldn't run good.
Jeff Gordon is in for a pit stop. Some tire rub on that car. That stop is completed. Jeff in 10th position.
He was 1 lap down. Now, Bob, he'll be 2 laps down. That's going to put him a little farther back.
We got a spin coming off turn 4, and the caution is out, and Jeremy Mayfield right in the middle of the racetrack. Now, so far, everybody's missed him. Hope that continues.
6th caution waves for Jeremy Mayfield spin in turn number 4.
Now, will they pit now, Ned?
Well, I expect some of them will, and maybe all of them will. There's, 73 laps to go, and it was 80-some laps to go when the green flag came back out, and that was really going to stretch those tires according to what they have run so far today. So it'll be interesting to see if they will.
Kyle Petty just pulled up beside of Ernie Irvin off turn 2 and said, man, I'm sorry I hit you a little bit ago. Pretty nice move.
Yeah. Well, let's see.
We're going to see here in just a second.
Yeah.
Yes, here they come. Jerry Punch.
They would have had to go on 88 laps on the set of tires they have on right now. Now by pitting, they will go 72 laps. So as they come down pit road at 35 miles per hour, as Kyle Petty is already in the pit where John Ferdinand is standing by.
Jerry, right side tires already on, left side tires going on. It's going to be another quick pit stop for the crew. They had one at 17.6 last time. Kyle's away.
18.6 this time. Ernie Irvin still must have had some trouble on the right side. They're around to the left. Here comes Kyle Petty down pit road. Ernie's spinning his tires on the jet. See that right rear spinning? They're having trouble. Rusty had a 16.2. He's going to take the lead, and Ernie finally leaves. He's going to be about 4th place right now. Ernie Irvin had some trouble and will go back to 4th place.
Wallace with a 16.2, Irvin with a 21.8, and there is Dale Earnhardt. Wow, a 16.2.
So we're going to find out just how tough Ernie Irvin is. Can he pass all these guys and get back to the front?
He's going to have to do now what he hasn't done just about all afternoon, and that is pass some cars to get back into the lead.
You'll see Jeremy Mayfield right in front of Derek Cope. And Jeremy did all that by himself.
Jerry, what happened to Ernie Irvin?
As you were watching the pit stop, guys, you saw Benny even commented, his left rear, his rear tires began to turn. Ernie's foot slipped off the clutch, and with the rear tires turning, they could not tighten the lug nuts until he hit the brakes and stopped the tires from turning. But that cost him about an extra 4 or 5 seconds, and it cost him 3 spots on the racetrack.
So now Ernie Irvin will have to pass about 3 or 4 cars to get back up into the lead. Can he do it? Well, we'll see when we come back with more from North Wilkesboro. Pretty awesome. Yep. Here's the booth. Thank you very much.
Hey, Ralphie.
Hey, Ralphie. Hi. Who? Larry and Janice Warren, hi, from Mikey. Go, John. Hello, John.
Hello.
Hello.
You noticed Ricky Rudd didn't pit. Bill Engel said, hey, they were the last car on the lead lap. They only had 10 laps on the tires. So if you lose some more spots, they got 5 points for leading the lap. So FYI.
Okay.
Said they didn't really have anything to lose by staying out.
Rudd is the first car behind the pace car, is the leader of the race, and this is the first time he has led a race in '94. Here's what happened to Ernie Irvan.
There we see the right side as the left side goes up, and see the right rear is spinning. Why is the right rear off the ground with the left side jacked up? But anyway, his foot slipped off the clutch, and both rear tires were spinning, and they couldn't tighten them as the tires were spinning.
Rudd leads him down. The green flag is out. We're back to racing on lap 333.
And Rusty Wallace knows this is his best chance to lead a lap here today. Ricky Rudd stayed out to get 5 bonus points and did not make a pit stop. Now Rusty Wallace might get a chance if he can pass Rudd on the outside. He has fresh tires.
Yeah, Rudd did not make a pit stop, and so he loses the lead. Rusty Wallace goes to the front in the first Union 400.
Petty on the inside of Jeff Gordon. And we see Terry Labonte's hung on the outside of Rick Mast.
Jeff Gordon is 10th. And of course, Rusty picks
a spin. Car number 14 of John Andretti spins down in turn 1.
His second spin of the day. His other one was at the other end of the racetrack. I don't believe it's going to bring out a caution. He's okay.
Yeah, he's going again. He was in some heavy traffic. Somebody bumped him going into the turn.
John shown in 31st position. Now here is Ernie Irvan trying to move through the field. He's up to 5th. I guess that's where he was.
That's where he was. Earnhardt's trying to pass him for that 5th spot, as a matter of fact.
Here's Petty and Rudd going for 2nd. Kyle's got it.
Terry Labonte of the Kellogg Chevrolet coming right there. He is 4th. He wants 3rd. And those new tires, even though Rudd only had about 10 or 11 laps on his tires, that's enough to make a big difference.
Here goes Terry Labonte to the inside of Ricky Rudd. Rudd has finished in the top 5 in 7 of the last 10. First Union 400s. Rusty Wallace has a lot of open racetrack ahead of him.
But it doesn't have a great deal of open track behind him because Kyle Petty appears to be moving in just a little bit. He's still 10 laps or so.
Right now, Ernie Irvan having all kinds of problems getting by Jeff Bodine. He is much faster. We see him close up, but he just can't get alongside to get in front. And Jeff Bodine, how many laps is he down?
One. He's in 7th, 1 lap down.
Closes right up, and he just can't come off the corner, get along under Jeff Bodine. And meanwhile, the leaders are
pulling away.
Here we go. It's trying once again. We see some contact.
A little smoke there. That was the tire rubbing against the sheet metal of Jeff Bodine. So now Jeff moves over and lets him go.
Here's the field summary. Irvan is 5th after leading most of the laps. Trouble on pit road, though, has put him back to 5th. 6 cars on the lead lap.
That's Jeff Burton on the inside. And whether or not Ernie Irvan wins this race or not, is how much trouble he's going to have getting by all this traffic. And then will he have anything left to catch these 2 cars?
Yeah, he's having to use his tires more than he has all day long here now to get through that traffic.
And there's no question that Kyle Petty is catching Rusty Wallace. 57 laps to go here in North Wilkesboro. It's anybody's race. Wallace right now in front of Petty, Labonte, Rudd, and Ernie Irvan.
If we can, let's promo the next race at Martinsville.
Okay. ESPN Speed World is being brought to you by AC Delco Automotive Parts. AC Delco, it's like buying time. And by the Valvoline Performance Team. Next Sunday here on ESPN live from Martinsville, Virginia at noon Eastern Time, we'll have coverage of the Haynes 500 NASCAR Winston Cup race. No, we are not on tape this year because of the NFL draft. We're on live at noon, and then the NFL draft will follow us at 3:30.
And if you'd like to see the Haynes 500 next week, there'll be 8,000 unreserved seats go on sale next Sunday morning.
Rusty Wallace leads Kyle Petty.
Terry Labonte and Ernie Irvin. That's our top four right now. The 3 car, Dale Earnhardt is running 5th. Ricky Rudd has moved back to the 6th spot.
Wow, Labonte is closing in on Kyle, isn't he?
He certainly is. Yes, he is. Kyle has been gaining on Rusty, and now Terry Labonte is gaining on both of them.
And it looks to me like all those cars are gaining on Ernie Irvin. He is not going to the front, Ned.
No, he's not. And as we mentioned, he had a lot of traffic to come through, had some trouble getting by some of them, and might have used his tires up certainly more than he wanted to, and might take its toll on him.
There is Earnhardt back in 5th position, and in 6th spot is the 10 car of Ricky Rudd.
No, Rudd is behind Earnhardt right now. Earnhardt has gotten by Ricky Rudd.
In fact, those
what you said,
tires that Ricky Rudd did not put on tires, did not make a pit stop, and boy, it is really beginning to show there now. Terry again was there again in the 8th position, 1 lap down.
Now, the only thing he accomplished there, Ned, was staying out there and getting the bonus points.
Yep, and he could have done that just by staying out there an extra lap and then making a pit stop. But I guess they. But Rick is a car owner, you know, that's another
We're not running
$1,100 or so.
All right, Jerry, what's wrong with Ernie Irvin?
Well, after having the car to beat most of the afternoon, I just spoke with Larry McReynolds and said, can you believe it, Doc? For the first time today, we have developed a push in the car. Ernie cannot get the car to turn in the middle of the corner. This set of tires, not what we wanted to put on in what was supposed to be their final pit stop. Let's go to John Kernan.
Well, Jerry, this set of tires on Kyle Petty's car also not as good as the last set of tires. Kyle's problem is not a push in the turns, but he's spinning his tires coming off the corner. It's not hooking up. So Kyle Petty also having some handling problems.
Kyle moving to the inside there of Jeremy Mayfield, car number 95, but he has Terry Labonte to contend with here as Terry is caught him. Kyle started 28th, has been as high as 2nd. That is his current position, and he was a lap down at one point.
Kyle Petty was 2nd in the point standings on the short tracks last year. If we had a short track point standings, as Labonte tries to get alongside of Kyle Petty.
And he does it going into turn 3. Kyle just backs up, lets him go. He knows that Terry's faster than he is right now, so he's going to let him go. He's not going to race with him. Not use up those tires any more than he has to for another caution, so he can get a different set of tires on the Mellow Yellow Pontiac.
Now we have Rusty Wallace in a Ford leading, and Terry Labonte in a Chevy running in 2nd position, and Ford has only 5 modern era wins at North Wilkesboro prior to today, but it could be added to. There's Rusty in the Miller Genuine Draft Ford in front with 40 laps to go. We hope you're enjoying our live coverage of the First Union 400 here at North Wilkesboro. The fans have been here loving every minute of it. We'll be back with more right after this.
Just one of them are down.
We'll use the lefts here. We did lose the preview monitor and the ISO. What in the world could have happened? It just... Yeah, right.
Here we go. Yes. Has he got time, Ned? I don't think he's got time to catch him.
I don't think so either.
Okay. Thank you, Bobby. Save the day. Rusty Wallace leads at North Wilkesboro. You're watching from overhead in the Family Channel Blitz. Now, here are the top 10 in the points when we went into this race and where they're currently running. Dale Earnhardt, the points leader, is currently 5th. Ernie Irvan has moved to 3rd. Mark Martin, 13th. Schrader, 9th. And Lake Speed is 14th at the moment. 6 through 10 in the points going into today. Sterling Marlin is now 17th. Morgan Shepherd is 18th. Ricky Rudd 6th. Jeff Gordon is 10th. And Rusty Wallace is the leader of the race. So the points are going to be jumbled once again if they finish the way they're running right now.
But look at that. Right behind Rusty Wallace, Terry Labonte. That Kellogg's Cornflakes Chevrolet, that big rooster is gaining on him.
Just keeps moving closer and closer every lap.
Ernie Irvan, as you noticed, did get by Kyle Petty. He now is running 3rd. I tell you, Wilkes County is definitely chicken country, and there's a big rooster on the hood of that car.
This has been an animal day. We started with Benny milking a cow, and now we've somehow gotten to roosters.
Well, he fed the chickens for a while there.
Yeah, slop the hogs. Wow, look at Labonte. He's almost in a position to take the lead here.
He's trying, coming off the second corner. And Dale Jarrett pulls down, let these guys go in. He does take the lead.
Terry Labonte has gone to the lead, and 3 of his 10 career wins have come on short tracks.
Yeah, we're going to go ahead.
Terry Labonte has won on this racetrack twice. In 87 and 88, he was the last driver to win from the pole position here in North Wilkesboro. He was also the last driver to register a win for Junior Johnson. About 27 laps to go now. Can Labonte hold on to the lead?
There's his brother, Bobby Labonte, right in front of Terry. Rusty Wallace's car just seemed to go away rapidly.
Well, they mentioned that he didn't get a set of tires as good as he had earlier, and Terry Labonte apparently has a good set of tires. But Terry has been right in there all day long. He's a good, smooth race driver, has played a good game here today, and he's never been too far out of it.
He laps his teammate, Ken Schrader, his Hendrick teammate, and now Ken is 2 laps down in 9th position. Here's a Napa field summary. Schrader pulling high and allowing Rusty to go chase Labonte.
Labonte just seems to be getting stronger and stronger, and these other cars getting slower and slower.
Yeah, that car is really hooked up coming off the turns. Let's go to the pits and Jerry Punch.
Yeah, they're watching Labonte's lap times. I think Gary Dehart just a moment ago told Terry, okay, you have the lead. You passed the 2 car. Now back it down. You got to be very, very careful with these tires. We can hang on for about 23 more laps. We're headed to victory lane.
This will be Labonte's first victory. Henry team.
His last win was in 1989 at Talladega. It's been 135 races since he won.
Wow.
This is only the 8th race of 31 that he has led here at North Wilkesboro, but he has 22 top 10 finishes. We're talking about Terry Labonte. Here's Ernie Irvin still trying to work up toward the front, but he's running out of laps.
I never see Ken Schrader, who ran so well in the Kodiak Chevrolet, and whatever problem he's had, toe-in or what, is really affecting this car now because he is much slower than he was just a few laps ago.
Irvin's about 3 6/10 seconds behind Terry Labonte.
Ernie goes to the inside of Schrader.
Ernie was so dominant in about, the first almost 3/4 of this race.
Kyle Petty is still running in 4th position.
And we can go all the way back to there to Kyle Petty so we can see just how his cars went away the last few laps.
Jeff Bodine sneaking under him. Bodine is in 7th, lap down. Dale Earnhardt, meanwhile, is back in 5th position. There he is. Again, he slides way high going through the corner. And the only other car on the lead lap is Ricky Rudd. They're going by in the 10 car.
And meanwhile, the 5 car, the leader, look at all that traffic right in front of Labonte as he goes by unstricted.
A lot of traffic ahead, but only 17 laps to go as we're riding with Gary Cope and watching Terry Labonte leading the First Union 400 and possibly picking up the victory here this afternoon.
Have a race between Kyle and Earnhardt before it's over.
Oh, please.
Oh, wow. That's close.
Hovering high above North Wilkesboro Speedway and NASCAR starter Doyle Ford is the Family Channel blimp. Currently on its 1994 Accentuate the Positive Lightship Tour. Cross-country journey incorporating flybys at fairs, festivals, and sporting events like this one. The First Union 400. Terry Labonte leading with 11 laps to go.
Terry Labonte had a close call just a moment ago, and he was nowhere around it. Jeff Gordon had a flat tire up in 3 and 4. I think we've got it on tape. Here he is. The right front tire is flat. Now, if he stops on the racetrack, there's going to be a caution, and that ruins Labonte's advantage. Ooh, and he turns in front of those cars. But don't you know Rick Hendrick was on the radio saying, Jeff, get off the racetrack in here now.
Of course, Rick Hendrick owns this car, the 24. He owns the car number 5 that Terry Labonte is driving. So
this is what it looked like from Mark Martin's perspective. We'll see how close it looked to him. It looked pretty close to us.
yeah, some good evasive action by Mark Martin.
Had to get off the throttle and do some wheel sawing. So Jeff Gordon, because of that cut tire, drops to 16th, 4 laps down. Terry Labonte is 8 laps, 7.5 actually, away from victory here at North Wilkesboro.
And just driving away from the competition.
Ooh, Ernie Irvin just got into Hut Strickland going into turn 3, but no caution because Hut held on to it. It got very, very high.
Hut Strickland, let's see where he is. 20th.
It was another one of those situations that Ernie caught Hut going into turn 3, and Hut perhaps didn't know he was out there, and Ernie started under him and touched him just a little bit, seemed high, but no major damage done.
Terry Labonte, of course, a former NASCAR Winston Cup champion, started 10th today. His lowest has been 19th, and he is currently our leader. He's led 21 laps and has less than 5 to go before seeing the checkered flag.
Right now he has a straightaway lead on Rusty Wallace. And Rusty has about a straightaway lead on Ernie Irvin.
Terry Labonte finished 18th in the points last year and came into this event 12th in the points. There's second place Rusty Wallace. Still chasing Terry, but running out of laps as there are now 3 to go for Labonte. Behind Bobby Hamilton in car number 40. Hamilton is 14th.
Just 2 to go now, Bob.
Yep, 398 completed. Look at the hope on the faces of Terry Labonte's crew members. How long can you hold your breath? Well, guys, you've got less than 2 laps now. Actually, less than a lap and a half to hold your breath, because here comes Terry Labonte in the Kellogg's Cornflake Chevrolet off the 4th corner and getting the white flag. There is 1 more lap to go for Terry Labonte from Corpus Christi, Texas, the 1984 NASCAR Winston Cup champion, who is about to record a victory here this afternoon. Here he is through turns 3 and 4, and Labonte wins the first Union 400. His 4th career short track wins in 137 starts, and of course it's his first victory for 94. Jerry?
And you can hear them celebrating down here in the Kellogg's pits. There's a smiling rooster down here. Gary DeHart, crew chief, congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Jerry. That's a brand new car we had today, and it just worked wonderful all day long. At first, we got the right fender knocked in a little bit, and then knocked the toe in a little bit. But it was a little tight, but we played with it all day long and got it back with air pressure. And the car's good. Terry drove his heart out, and we love him, Kellogg's, Chevrolet, and everybody.
Last set of tires did the trick.
Yeah, last set of tires.
Gary DeHart, as they celebrate here, they're jumping up and down, and they will head to Victory Lane, which is on top of a building, the media center, here in the very center of North Wilkesboro Speedway. Bob?
It's his 11th career win and his 3rd at North Wilkesboro. Terry Labonte drives to Victory Lane. We'll visit with him in just a moment. Boy, it's good to see somebody like that win and breaking this 4-driver syndrome we seem to be in.
21 of the last 22.
Yep. And that is really good.
As a matter of fact, the last 23 races have been won by 5 cars, because that 5 car won the Michigan race last year, or the 4. I forgot about the 4 car. But since Michigan last year,
Oh, how many more segments have we have here? Oh, okay. Well, Terry Labonte's car has been raised on the platform to the top of the media center down in the infield. And in just a couple of seconds here, Labonte is going to be climbing out of his Chevrolet and receiving the applause of the crowd here this afternoon. What a great afternoon of racing, and good to see Terry Labonte in the winner's circle.
There's been 4 teams that have been dominating Winston Cup racing for about 20 races now, and it's good to see a new face in victory lane.
Here's Dr. Jerry Punch.
And if you don't think it's a popular victory here, Terry Labonte climbs out of the big Chevrolet. And Terry, congratulations on an outstanding effort today.
Thanks. I'll tell you, I just can't say enough for our sponsor, Kellogg's. Kellogg's Frosted Mini Wheats, GMAC of Abilene, all the people at Hendrick Motorsports, for giving me an opportunity to drive for them. Rick Hendrick and Jimmy Johnson, all the guys there. It's a brand new car, first new car we've had all year. We came up and tested it, and it was pretty good, and we thought we'd be pretty good.
Oh my God. Well, let's see if our mic still works. A little bit of a Gatorade shower.
They're excited. I am too. It's great.
Hey, as Gary Dehart comes in to celebrate, we get you need to thank your teammate Jeff Gordon. If that car would have stopped on the track, you'd have had another pit stop as Rick Hendrick comes in here and gets along with Kim a great effort.
Well, it was. I was really sweating late in the race. I didn't want a caution flag. It seemed like my car ran better in long runs, and that beat me a little bit, for 20 or 30 laps, and we finally got going good. And then the 28 car, to tell you the truth, on the last flag, we had just about settled for second. We thought we could beat everybody but him. Evidently, he had a problem and we got hung up in traffic or something. But it was a great run for us. Gary Dehart, crew chief, and Eddie Dickerson, all the guys back that build the engines, build the cars, just did a great job for us. Chevrolet, Goodyear tires were great. I hope I thanked everybody.
Well, Rick, how about Kim Labonte, your wife, right here beside him, as Kim comes up and shares victory lane with him? Let's check in with Ernie Irvin, who's standing by with John Kernan. John?
Well, Ernie, after leading 3/4 of the race, still not a bad finish, and I believe the way we calculate it, you've cut Earnhardt's points lead in half.
Yeah, that's what we're here for, is to try to win the championship. We sure wanted to win today, try to get that Unical money, but just wasn't meant to be. The last set of tires, we just mismatched them a little, and just didn't get hooked up like we had been all day. But Texaco Abilene Ford ran good, and say hi to everybody at home. We'll be ready at Martinsville.
There's always next week, Bob.
Ernie Irvin now 20 points behind Dale Earnhardt. Terry Labonte moved up 5 positions in the points and is now 7th. Back with more from North Wilkesboro after this. Wilkesboro, another top 10 finish turned in by Kenny Schrader. He's with John Kernan.
Well, Kenny, another top 10 finish. Last week is second. This week it looked like it was going to be pretty good, but a lot of contact out there.
Yeah. Jimmy and I kept having a little trouble there. First time he got loose off of 2, I got up to his door. He decided he wanted to bottom. There was no way. He got turned around. And second time, I'm sure he had a good reason he spun me out when I was coming in the pits, and when he spun me back out when he come in the pits. But, sorry he's not happy. We're not either.
That's the way it goes, I guess, Bob.
All right, thank you very much. Well, the manufacturers battle as Chevrolet records a win here with Terry Labonte. They now have 4 wins. Ford, however, as we indicated earlier, dominating the pole positions, and they have 3 wins. So another good manufacturers battle, it looks like, coming up this year. Here are their unofficial results of the First Union 400. Labonte, Wallace, Irvin, Kyle Petty, and Dale Earnhardt are your top 5.
And 6th through 10th, Ricky Rudd in the lead lap. Jeff Bodine 1 lap down in 7th. Harry Gant with a good run finishes 8th. Ken Schrader 9th, and Rick Mast 10th.
11th through 15th this afternoon, Michael Waltrip, Lake Speed, Mark Martin, Bobby Hamilton, and Jeff Gordon.
Finishing in 16th position was Wally Dallenbach, Sterling Marlin 17th, and Bill Elliott, Todd Bodine, and Hud Strickland.
21st through 25th, Ted Musgrave, Morgan Shepherd, Brett Bodine, Dick Trickle, and Dale Jarrett.
Our 26th car was Bobby Labonte, Derek Cope, Darrell Walter back in 28th, Dave Marcus, and Jeremy Mayfield 30th.
31st was John Andretti, then Jimmy Spencer, Jeff Burton, Greg Sachs, Chuck Bound was in 35th position. And finishing 36th, the first car out of the race was Jay Hedgecock. So that's the way they finished. Now we take a look at the points. Dale Earnhardt's advantage shaved to 20. Mark Martin stayed the same. Ken Schrader 4th in points, and Lake Speed stayed the same in 5th. As far as the other point standings are concerned, Rusty Wallace gained 4. He's now to 6th. Terry Labonte gained 5 positions to 7th. Ricky Rudd stayed the same. Sterling Marlin dropped 3 positions, and Kyle Petty moved up a position into the top 10. So, good race. And again, good to see Terry Labonte in victory lane.
Sure was. You know, Ernie Irvin looked like he had things going his way, under control. That last caution flag, had a slow pit stop, let his foot slipped off the clutch, and the tires just not what he was used to. Couldn't get back to the front.
While we're handing out a whole bunch of congratulations, especially to Terry Labonte, we want to congratulate Dr. Jerry Punch and wife Joni, because they're the parents of a brand new baby girl born, last Wednesday, Jessica. So we certainly send our congratulations along to Jerry and Joni. Well, coming up in just about a minute from now is Shop Talk with Eli Gold, and his special guest is Rusty Wallace, a brand new Shop Talk, so stay with us because it's coming up in just a matter of seconds. Then an hour from now at 5 o'clock Eastern Time, same day delayed coverage of the Grand Prix of Atlanta IMSA race. And the Ferraris are making their debut in that event, so you'll want to tune in and see how they do in their first World Sports Car effort. And again, we remind you that next Sunday afternoon we'll be at Martinsville, Virginia for the Haynes 500 live at noon Eastern Time. Congratulations again to a wet but happy Terry Labonte on his victory in the First Union 400 here this afternoon. My thanks to Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons, John Kernan, and Dr. Jerry Punch. And thank you for joining us. We'll see you next Sunday. For now, this is Bob Jenkins. So long, everyone.